the one in the room.
Okay.
Historically.
Good.
But
Thank you.
Our being chair can
Good evening.
dictate new rules.
Welcome everybody to the October 9th, 2018 open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board, beginning at 6:15. We have 6:15 by the clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
I called it to order. First matter of business, we will approve the agenda.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Just need to add a bill onto the agenda, please.
I didn't jot that down. During the admin section, we have an administrative task this evening. We have to pay a bill. So I'm going to add that to the end at the new business if it's okay with you all. Outside of that, I didn't double check. Do we have the minutes for the 27th also?
We
here?
do not.
Okay, so I'm going to
I was on
actually
vacation,
ask
so we
for.
didn't get them done.
So, two things.
Looks like you got some.
The
Yeah.
and so we have discussion. I got something to say. I gave Heather some comments again on the minutes from September 11th. I don't know if you all had a chance to take a look at those.
No, I did not send them out.
Okay.
Well, you sent them out
So-
to everybody.
Vote
But
to approve the.
So I'm going to ask that we get amend the agenda because September 11th minutes were quite long, about 5 pages of minutes, and I asked for a lot of corrections. I'd prefer to not go approve them tonight if you all hadn't had a chance to look at them, because many of our you're mentioned a lot in it, Sue, and I want to make sure we're reflecting what you said.
No,
So,
I had a ton of reading, so you're right.
exactly. No, it's quite all right. Heather was good about getting it to us for the weekend. I had a chance to look at them over the weekend. But with yesterday being a day off for everybody in the world but me, I couldn't get it back to her till this morning. So that was what happened. Okay? So I'm actually going to ask for a motion to move to modify the agenda by striking approved minutes for 9/11 and 9/27. Second?
Seconded.
Any discussion on that? So can I ask you to...
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. I guess I get to call the public hearing. Open the public hearing, correct?
yes, we get to. Madam Clerk needs to read the notice.
Fantastic. And I turn it over to Mr. Archambault.
Sue needs to read the notices.
Oh, she's got the notice? Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do I read both of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The first one, public hearing notices for amendments to the air zoning bylaw, miscellaneous amendments to, number one, miscellaneous amendments to the air zoning bylaw, Town of Ayer, Planning Board, public hearing notice. Pursuant to MGL 40A, Section 5, the Ayer Planning Board will hold a public hearing at 6:15 on Tuesday, October 9th, 2018, on several amendments to the air zoning bylaw. The purpose of all the following amendments is to clarify the intent of the air zoning bylaw for each specific section referenced. In definitions, changes are being proposed to home occupations to clarify storage of contractor equipment, as well as to lot corner and lot frontage to clarify frontages on multiple streets. In section 3.5.1, site plan review, the applicability B, exceptions. A new item 3 is being added to address required parking spaces for multifamily structures. In section 6.3, add new section B to describe how the number of dwellings units in site plan developments is calculated and renumber subsequent sections. Also in section 6.3, additional requirements for the density and dimensional regulations, changes to corner lots, cornices, and eaves, decks and dimensional regulations, changes to decks and location to accessory structures to clarify the requirements for each. In section 9.1.5, C2, change to clarify parking requirements for existing multifamily dwellings. In section 10.1.3C, amendment to clarify the amount of wetlands and steep slopes that can count towards the minimum required open space in open space residential developments. In addition, several sections are being amended to allow for accessory parentheses or in-law parentheses apartments in several districts of the town to be allowed by special permit from the ZBA in the A1, A2, general residence, and general business districts by right in the downtown business and mixed-use transitional district, and prohibited in the industrial, light industrial, and healthcare services districts. Detailed provisions for the accessory apartments will be placed in section 5.3.1C. Lastly, a new section on detailed specifications for common driveways is proposed as new section 9.8 in 9.0 general regulations. Such provisions to address the purpose, definition, scope, and dimensional standards for common driveways. The fine details of the construction and stormwater management requirements for common driveways will be addressed in forthcoming revised subdivision regulations. The full text of the proposed zoning bylaw can be found on the Town of Ayer website at https://www.ayer.ma.us, and paper copies can be obtained at the town clerk's office or at the Ayer Planning Department in the Ayer Town Hall during normal business hours. This was published in the September 14th, 2018 and September 21st, 2018 Neshoba Voice.
Thank you very much.
And everyone's still here. So we'll read the second one. I should get rid of it.
I'm going to ask in the future if we can dispense with the reading. I've done that in other meetings in the past. Procedurally, I don't know if we can do it or not because we've seen this before.
Yeah.
But please, for now, do it. Just, we've all read it and seen it. But please, I'm sorry, Sue, but please.
Well, everyone who's here has obviously seen it. So, public hearing notices for amendment to the Ayer zoning bylaw. Number 1, amendment to section 7.0, non-conforming uses and structures in the Ayer zoning bylaw. Town of Ayer, Planning Board, public hearing notice. Pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws 40A, Section 5, the Ayer Planning Board will hold a public hearing at 6:30 on, we're going to get through all the rest by 15 minutes, on Tuesday, October 9th, 2018, on an amendment to the Ayer zoning bylaw. The purpose of this zoning bylaw amendment is to clarify the requirements for alteration, reconstruction, extension, and changes to pre-existing non-conforming single and two-family dwellings and their associated accessory buildings and structures as found in sections 7.2A1 and 7.2A.2 of the Ayer zoning bylaw. These changes are in addition to other zoning bylaw amendments as advertised in the Neshoba Valley Voice on September 14th, 2018 and September 21st, 2018. The full text of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment can be found on the Town of Ayer website at https://www.ayer.ma.us, and paper copies can be obtained at the town clerk's office or at the Ayer Planning Department in the Ayer Town Hall during normal business hours. Ayer Planning Board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I guess we'll look at Mr. Rochambeau.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I'll open with a few preparatory remarks before I get to the PowerPoint slides. Back in March of this year, the town adopted an entirely new zoning bylaw that was prepared by zoning consultant Judy Barrett for the most part. There were several additional changes that were made internally by myself and other staff members. And that zoning bylaw passed on March 19, 2018. Now, as you may know from going to Home Depot and purchasing a kit that requires assembly, sometimes you get the kit and you're putting something together, and after a half an hour of frustration and banging your thumbs, you realize that something is missing. That there's like a step C that was either poorly translated or is not there, and you need to stick that in there in order to clarify the intent or the process of building whatever you're building. So it's the same thing with the zoning bylaw, that oftentimes you don't realize that there are little tweaks that need to be made until you actually apply the bylaw. And we have Building Commissioner Charlie Schultz with us this evening, who's on the front line of administering the bylaw, so people come to him to apply for building permits for decks or accessory structures or other things. And he'll see that, there should be a little something else in here, or this should be tweaked a little bit. So what we'll go through tonight is the zoning bylaw amendments as read into the record by Sue. And we'll point out, where the changes are. About half of these amendments are amendments that originated with the building commissioner, so I will ask him to speak to them. And about half of those originated from myself. The purpose is to basically clarify the intent and process for several sections of the bylaw where it was our feeling that it could use a little bit more detail. So the first, and I should also mention that for the time being, the common driveway amendment, which was read for the first public hearing, we decided to pull that for this town meeting because we are most likely going to be able to address that entirely in the subdivision regulations, which are being written now. And we felt that they needed a little more thought, and there was a common driveway section in the general bylaws of the town. There's common driveways addressed in zoning and several other places, so it's going to take a little bit more thought to work on that.
So that's Article 1 is being pulled?
Not the entire article, but just the common driveway provision that was at the very end. Lastly, a new section on detailed specifications for common driveways.
There's a misunderstanding.
Oh.
She's asking if there was an article that was changed.
Oh, no, there's no article that changed it. Did I say article?
No, she was
No, but
asking.
she's reading
yeah.
She
this,
asked the question.
and it shows that Article 1 exists.
Oh,
That's separate.
That's
Okay.
separate. That's not a zoning.
That's where it's
internal.
coming from. So.
Okay. Yes,
Thank
that's. I'm not sure who's.
Okay, so for point of clarification,
Yeah.
I think I have the
Yes.
answer. After the ad was published, Mr. Ashambo and Mr. Schultz decided that we were not far enough along to have an article from the planning board addressing common driveway changes. However, it happens to be, to make it confusing, an article that's presented by the Department of Public Works for Article 1 to change a general bylaw in the town. Yeah, did you know this is Article 1? Which happens to be a part of a section that does involve some driveway information, as well as opening of the streets and whatnot. So there's a little confusion. Article 1 is not what we're talking about tonight. That's being presented by the DPW and the selectmen. Our stuff actually starts on Article 2, right?
Article 2.
Right, so we start with Article 2.
Okay, and is anything changed with the zoning articles? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
But did you say that Article 1 is being pulled, or just?
Oh,
No.
nothing is being pulled.
We didn't have anything to do with Article 1.
Yeah, the common driveway notice that was mentioned at the end of the first notice that you read, we were going to do that as part of the zoning bylaw. This is something entirely separate coming from DPW. So Article 1 is still going to be presented at town meeting.
Oh, okay.
However, by the DPW, not the planning board.
Right. It's a little confusing.
Anybody will be awake when they get to us?
Well, I know about it.
Well, I was actually kind of surprised to see that about
It was very strange.
3/4 of the warrant articles for October 22nd are zoning articles.
Yeah.
So I'll be up there a lot, public speaking practice. Okay, we have several. The first amendment is Article 2, which is amending the definitions section of the bylaw. The first has to do with accessory apartments, which originally was a standalone with the rest of the accessory apartment provisions. So I'll come back to that later. And what I'd like to do is those warrant articles that are in the purview of Charlie, I would like to go through first so that he can get out of here and get ready for the baseball game.
Thank you.
I told him flat out, you're going to watch the game at home.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be walking out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Who's playing?
Okay, so
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask a question before.
Yes, please do. I'm sorry. No resisting.
I just want to ask one
Save me from my
general
kids saying that to
question
me.
of Mark and Charlie and the process. So what we see published here in front of us is the actual language that's been published for the warrant, because the warrant's published, right? We're not
Yeah.
tweaking the language tonight.
Well, if may I sit up here, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
to
Yes, please do.
discuss with you?
I'm sorry, Charlie.
I think
I'm pretty informal, so I'm sorry about that.
I'm not sure, that's why.
the language is right, except for in looking over it this morning, there's one correction.
yeah, there's
A
one
minor
later that,
tweak that was an underline that got put through, or we didn't
got
communicate.
struck through.
Yeah, it's nothing major though, and I'll explain it when we get there, but I think the language is the same thing that was presented. if I'm-
Yes, yes.
And may I ask Ken?
So I was just concerned that
Go ahead, yeah.
if this is the language, it's already public, warrant has been published.
We've
Yeah.
seen it. We've
Okay.
dealt with this language. Is what you're saying? Yeah.
Well,
I'm
we saw
sorry.
it, we saw it. Okay.
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 Okay, so the three definitions that are actually in the building commissioner's purview are home occupation, lot corner, and lot frontage. And the text in blue, the blue text hopefully jumps out at you very clearly. It's the text that is being amended through these zoning amendments. So I will ask
Thanks. Yeah,
Charlie if he doesn't mind to go through the three there, home occupation, lot corner, and lot frontage.
Are we going to skip accessory apartment?
I'm going to come back to that
Okay,
when we
thank you.
get to that later, because
Okay.
that'll be part of the entire accessory
Okay, great,
apartment
thanks.
discussion.
Okay, so for home occupation, the problem that keeps arising is like, a lot of it, landscapers will come in, or people with smaller businesses, and we have nothing in the regulations that address what a home occupation is. So we added, any occupation that requires outdoor equipment to be stored in the yard must obtain a special permit from the ZBA. So that doesn't leave it up to me to determine if they're a large-scale landscape or small. I'm just using landscaping because that's most of it that comes in. And another one that on the end of that, with the exception of Class 2 vehicles and one-ton pickup trucks as approved by the building commissioner. And the reason for that is in the wintertime, you get a lot of people that work for plowing companies, and they'll take their one-ton and greater with sanders on them.
They go home to sleep for a little while and go back. Yeah.
And I get so
I did
many,
that for years.
but I get so many phone calls because it's a commercial truck in a residential area, and it could be a diesel, and they're starting it up late. So the Class 2, basic definition is that half-ton, three-quarter-ton pickup, because even though they can have a commercial plate, it could be just someone's work truck with nothing. So we wanted to add something that when someone comes in to me, I can say, no, you can still have it if you go to the ZBA, and they can set some sort of limitations on them. So they don't start with one little trailer and then grow into taking up the whole yard in a residential.
And we want them to be successful also. And how I solved the problem with my F-550 plow with the sander is I backdragged my neighbor on the way out every morning. I opened up his window at the end of his driveway every morning. He stopped complaining about me parking there. Just if you know the plows.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's one
Make
neighbor.
friends with your neighbors.
Yeah,
Don't
it
destroy
depends on
the
your
end,
neighbor.
but let them get out.
But
in
the
morning.
thing is, if
Yeah.
you're gonna use it, I can approve something like that if I know it.
Perfectly
But then
fine.
if I get complaints like this, then you just have to go to the ZBA and they'll put limitations or say no to you. So then the intent of that is to be able to actually tell someone factually that they can have this or they can't have that and you can't have this. It saves a lot of
It's good.
my time. Okay, so lot corner, I just added or 3 because we have some lots I'll use 41 East Main Street, for example. It has 3 sides to it. So a lot frontage. This is just for setback purposes. On the case of lots fronting on multiple streets, the front yard shall correspond to the street with the longest frontage. So if someone's got a 80-foot frontage or 120 and 100, they need to use the longest frontage to determine their setbacks.
Okay.
But say it's a cape and they wanted to turn the garage, they can enter through the side lot lines. But they can't, because I'll get a lot of engineers saying, well, we've got 100 here and 120 here, and it's only 100-foot frontage. Well, that's not the intent. The intent is for your frontage to be from your longest line. So that takes care of that. And we add the section, so if they wanted to turn the garage and come in from another approved street, they could. So that takes care of those.
And I'll mention too, I looked, and these graphics probably don't do a great job of this, but I was searching for, on the GIS, the town's GIS website, examples of lots that have 3 sides or, multiple frontages. And there are a few, but they're not many. So I
Right.
don't think that this will come up super often.
No, I don't think so either. But it
Because I
did
was
come up.
actually searching for examples. I know this graphic doesn't really reproduce well in this.
And-
setting.
First thing that happens when you change a bylaw is you get the exception right away.
Well,
It's Murphy's Law.
right, the intent, and on 41 East Main Street, he had 3 sides, they all had 100-foot frontage.
Gardner's place?
No, right
No.
over here.
Oh, East Main
Right
Street,
here.
It's
sorry.
the gazebo,
Oh,
right.
yeah, I know the
Gazebo.
place.
So
Okay,
they all had
East Main
100-foot frontage. So the engineers now have no rear lot line setback, which is the greatest setback. They have all side setbacks, which were 10 feet instead of the 25.
Okay.
So this determines that they have to use the longest line on the street as their frontage, which would have them get a rear setback, which is the intent.
Which impacts the density right
Well,
away.
right, it's
Which
not-
is what we're trying to impose the density of that zoning area.
Right, it's
Exactly,
not, it's not in there so developers can find these loopholes and say, hey, I only need 10 foot instead of 25, so I can put in a 5,000 square foot building instead of a 3,000.
that's a good point.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll probably come up with a graphic for town meeting that's better than this. That'll be more of a hypothetical example so we can illustrate it. Also, Charlie, if you want to use the easel to illustrate anything that might come up later, I have that just in case. Okay, there's another one. Okay, the next article is Article 3, which is amending Section 3.5.1 of the air zoning bylaw, which is the site plan review section. The only change, which I'll have Shirley mention, is to item 4 about the applicability for site plan review.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait. Site
it's
plan
really-
review by the planning board shall be required for the following uses or activities. in
That's all good.
districts.
It's just,
Yeah, just number
just number
3
3,
under
just
exception.
adding 3.
Right,
Number 3 exceptions, yep.
yep. And we also, except where a single family
Yeah.
or a two-family, we qualified single family and two-family for being one. If
Okay.
you're just proposing one single family or one duplex, you don't need to do a site plan because you will have needed a special permit. So if you want to talk about the parking spaces, Charlie?
So what this does is it stops, as we can all remember, 4 Pearl Street from having to spend, not just him, but residents. The purpose of all these changes is to stop people from having to go to the ZBA for things that the neighbors are allowed by right. That's how I went at these changes, and when they come up to me, seeing the headaches people go through. So a pre-existing non-conforming multifamily structure adding 4 or fewer additional spaces. Right now, I'll use it downtown, for example. If Carlin's wanted to add a building to they wanted to add another story,
Yes.
they would have to give enough parking spaces for whatever they have for an occupant load.
2 per unit, basically. is
But, yeah, and if they
what we're working on.
already have, say there's 20 outside there that they have now,
Yep.
those are in effect new parking spots. They can designate those. If they need 10
Yep.
for upstairs, they can just say, well, 10 of these 20 are for upstairs. because the other ones are pre-existing non-conforming, and back then you didn't need a parking spot for an area. So if someone comes in with a multifamily structure, I'm gonna go through our zoning and say, hey, he's putting in 2 units, he needs 2 more spaces. So if you take 4 Pearl Street, which was a large lot, he really only needed 2 spaces, but because of the way it was written, he had to go to the planning board and pay fees and spend time. So there's still control, but we just figured we took 4 as the number, because if they can at least produce what they need to for new construction, then they can't have a permit without going for a variance. So that was the reasoning behind that, is to save the residents some headache. And it's not like it's an unchecked thing where they can just go and have an addition, because they still have to meet zoning through whoever the building commissioner is or building department.
Yeah, we will have instances like Pearl Street in the future just because of what we currently have.
We will.
But they will
Right.
sort themselves out over time.
Yes, and if accessory apartment goes through, we may have it under 4 a lot more.
Yeah.
And anything over 4 is site plan review and goes through all the things, but it just lets one neighbor do what another neighbor can do by right without having to come to a board.
Any
Next.
further discussion about that one?
I don't think so.
The next one,
Are
this
we
one is...
discussing these as we go along?
yes.
Or I
Yeah,
think we're
we
going to
do.
get that
Yes.
presentation first and then...
No, I think it'd probably be best,
Why don't we do it
especially...
while we're moving?
Yeah.
If you would like.
Yes.
Because I thought he had to...
We'll watch the clock for him. It's 20 minutes to
The
7.
game
Yeah,
is-
no,
What
no,
do you-
ask
what
me
do you
questions.
need?
20 minutes to
time.
go?
All
No,
kinds of time.
it's just that
I get you an escort.
there is no reason for an exception because this only applies to 5 or more.
No,
So, right?
No,
No,
because he's specifying multifamily. The rest of the site plan applies to business or any kind of site
Yeah.
plan review. He's focusing in on multifamily structures, pre-existing.
So where
non-conforming.
does multifamily...
In the 3, pre-existing,
Number 3.
non-conforming multifamily structure.
No.
Number 2, in the applicability.
Yeah, construction or expansion of any parking lot, municipal, commercial, industrial, or multifamily
5 or more.
yeah,
involving 5 or more. And then you say you're accepting ones that have 4 or less.
Yeah, for multifamily, but
If
all
they're
the other ones are
pre-existing.
still.
Yes.
Non-
if they're
conforming.
pre-existing.
If they're pre-existing.
They must be
building.
pre-existing.
But this only applies to 5 or more, so it's never covering the 4 and less. right?
Yes, it is. If you look under the parking standards,
Well, that's different, so it doesn't affect this.
no, it isn't. If you look in your zoning book and you read your zoning, it goes by how many bedrooms are in a unit. So you could need more than 5 new parking spots in a 2-family.
You could need more than 5.
Depending
If
how
there's
many
how many
bedrooms
bedrooms, I see,
and
it's
what
based on
zone it's in.
bedrooms, I see.
Okay, but if you have more than 5, then it wouldn't be accepted.
No, it would go like it always does, the site plan
Yeah, we
review.
go to 7.
Okay,
But if you
but
had
this is
3
in the
up
wrong
there-
section then. Because it doesn't apply here. This section here is only about 5 or more. And you're talking about accepting ones that have 4 or less, which are already not included.
Yeah, but I think that the difference is that the first part of the the first part of the requirement is basically new construction. What he's talking about is existing construction that's pre-existing,
Yeah, but there's only
non-conforming.
talking about 5 or more.
Where's the zoning?
It's,
See, number 2,
No, I understand what you're saying, but there's, I wouldn't just pop it in.
if it's in a
exception
different
there.
section, then it needs to be in a different section. It doesn't apply. This doesn't apply already. It already doesn't apply.
Okay, I'm going to step back for a minute.
Yeah, because you,
I'm going to ask a question.
yeah,
We're talking about the applicability of site plan review.
Yes.
Site plan review is required for
1 through
The
5.
items-
construction or expansion of any parking lot for municipal, institutional, commercial, industrial, or multifamily
yes,
structure,
thank you, that's where it
or
comes from.
purpose involving 5 or more new or additional parking spaces.
Right.
So site plan review is for new construction there. There are exceptions to this One of the exceptions we're defining is a pre-existing, non-conforming, multifamily structure, adding 4 or fewer parking spaces. In other words, I don't want to use any address because it's unfair to anybody, but to hear what Charlie is saying, Mr. Schultz is saying, is that if there's an opportunity to add a bedroom to a structure or a unit to a structure based on zoning in an area, and that structure already is a pre-existing non-conforming. We got a bunch of them in our densely populated, in our densely set downtown area, that they won't have to go through the expense of going to ZBA.
Do they have to now?
I know,
Because it
yes.
says
Yes,
5 or more.
I can answer it now if you'd
Please
like.
do, Mr. Schultz.
So
Yes,
number,
I'm good. Yeah.
number one is where it comes from. Any construction, alteration or expansion or change of use, and forget the municipal,
Okay.
go to multi, so that says construction, alteration, expansion, or change of use for a multifamily structure. So no matter if they're adding, I could say a deck is an expansion or it's construction,
Yes.
but if they're adding
If
a
it's
bedroom or anything on that thing, our zoning, have to send them to you guys for site plan review.
To us and or ZBA for a variance, depending on.
Well, for
to
this,
us,
for
yes.
site plan
For site
review.
plan, yes, for us.
For
Depending on
site
how we
plan
do it,
review,
they end up in
if you
variance or
were,
not.
if
Yeah.
you lived in downtown and you had a multifamily and you wanted to add a bedroom in the basement,
Yeah.
that, number one, when you come in to see me for a building permit, I say you have to go to site plan review because you're expanding
Yes.
your multifamily.
Yeah.
That's a trigger. So we put the exception in for cases like that. So when people are just adding a little, if it's 4 or fewer additional parking spaces, that they
Yeah.
don't have to go to site plan review, which is very expensive and time consuming. Because if you live next door to multifamily, and you had a single family, you want to add a bedroom in your basement or some addition to it, you don't have to go through all this. And we kept it at 4 or fewer because anything else we felt, yes, they should have site plan review. I mean, you can always grant whatever they want, but
Yeah, I can't quote the exact parking, but usually the rule of thumb is 2 spaces per unit.
yeah,
And that's
I appreciate
generally,
it's 1.5, but in practicality, it's 2 per unit.
yeah.
most towns' bylaws are 2 or goes by new paving.
No,
Which then has all the runoff problems.
Ours
and
goes
stuff
by
that needs
units.
to-
Ours
goes by
Ours
units.
is currently done by units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean
cross,
other
we're going to
towns
cross the open space
where they have a
impervious at some
Yeah.
site
point.
plan review discuss
Baby
the
steps.
new pavement.
Yeah, baby steps.
So if you already had pavement to, but putting in new pavement, for purposes of runoff and other problems that,
Right, but we're just talking about multifamily houses only that are pre-existing,
Pre-existing non-conforming.
non-conforming, multifamily structures.
okay, so,
That's all we're talking about.
okay.
And
so-
if
Are you
number
okay with
one
it
wasn't
being here?
in
Sorry.
there, if number one wasn't in there,
Yeah.
if they came to me, I wouldn't have to send them to you guys.
Exactly.
But number one should be in there because it covers other things that need to be in there. So we added the exception for a multifamily only.
So it's basically a tiny exception, it's a parking exception, that's a
That
very
I can
tiny
make a
exception.
determination. If I see that it's wrong, I'm not gonna, or any building
Yeah.
commissioner, not gonna grant them a building permit
Right.
until they.
Then you
come
push
to
it
us.
back to planning board.
Yeah, they can be put back, but at least if I go out on site and do a site visit and I see a huge open parking area and they're adding 1 unit, and they only need 1 space because it's only 1 bedroom, they don't have to go to the planning board because there's an exception. Otherwise, if they added the 1 bedroom, they would have to come to site plan review. I have no choice.
Got it.
Okay, so zoning amendment 1, you kind of made my point that you're getting calls and complaints about equipment. I'll grant that ours isn't entirely clear, but right now there isn't anything that says that equipment is allowed to be stored in people's yards in residential areas. I couldn't find another town where that's allowed. that
What are we on?
Or should I have
Back to
definitions?
the
Going
home
back.
occupation.
Home
Yeah.
occupation.
Oh,
home, the
oh, okay.
home occupation, it just isn't. Almost all the towns say that you can't have anything outside, that if some towns allow you to have storage in a storage facility.
that's up
or
to you
on A
guys.
shed on your
Yeah.
property, but you kind of made my case too when you said you get lots of calls.
I get a ton of calls.
So it's unclear right now, there is nothing that says it's allowed to be storing. And I would be afraid that if people see it in there, they'll just get ideas and it'll get
No, they have to
worse
go to the
instead of better.
ZBA if they want to put something outside now.
Says they,
Has the ZBA ever said no to anything?
We
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know, that's none of our purview.
I've seen him say no.
It's, right now, it's just plain not allowed in any other town that I can find.
No, you'd be surprised if they don't have a commercial plate on a trailer, and they don't have a commercial plate on their truck, it'd be like you or I owning a riding mower, a weed whacker, and leaving it in our yard. There's no commercial plates on it, and then what do? And everyone, there's a lot of landscapers in the area that have it now. And I can't police every day, go around and see who has a trailer. So there's something in there that says you gotta go to the ZBA. So now when a resident calls and says, this guy's got his mower, he's starting up at 6 in the morning, I can send them a letter saying, look, we have a bylaw that says if you have outdoor equipment, you must go get a permit from the ZBA, and they can
Or
put
you could say
restrictions.
it's not allowed. And since, again, I didn't check every town in Massachusetts, but I checked, that's why I didn't read the minutes. I went through about 10, and none of them allow storage
Yeah,
of
but who's to say
equipment
what storage is?
outside.
I can't
They say,
determine.
they make it very clear, they go into language that says that you shouldn't be able to tell that there's any home business there, you shouldn't be able to see anything except for the sign from the street, you shouldn't, and
I agree
I
with
don't want
that.
so much the trucks, but like you're saying, is you start piling up equipment and then you're turning it on early in the morning and then, it's becoming, but most other towns, this would be a step backwards when the master plan and most people in town are asking us to step up, tighten the bylaws and tighten up enforcement.
I'm gonna go to someone's home, I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna mention any names, and they don't have a commercial plate on the trailer, they don't have one on the truck, and they have landscaping equipment in the yard, and they say it's their personal stuff, and they park it on the road. How do you want me to enforce that?
If they're saying it's not part of their business, I don't know how to enforce that, but I don't think we say we allow it if you get permission from the ZPA. Again, we would be, I did not see another town that allowed it.
thank you.
It's up to,
Okay. Do you have other comments on other ones here?
No,
what's that?
Do you have other comments on other ones on this page?
I've only got two.
Go ahead. You have two?
No, Mark goes in for Mark.
No,
We skipped
Do you have
accessory apartment, right?
We'll get to that later.
right.
Yeah, we skipped that.
I believe, in some ways, Ayer is a unique town because of its industrial heritage and the trains and everything. And so we have a different mix of land uses in what people do for home businesses than you might see in Groton or Harvard. And, I would recommend that the board go with Charlie's recommendation, certainly for now. I think in the future, it might be good to look at the entire scope of home occupations in general, because the bylaw doesn't go into a lot of detail about home occupations per se. And many towns, some that Sue have looked at, go into, a lot of detail as far as the square footage, the number of employees, whether you can have, people from.
Oh, type of businesses, you have
Right.
physicians who practice at home.
Right. So,
And
Yeah.
with the advent of the internet, or the interweb, whatever they call it these days,
Yeah.
home occupation can be,
right.
something. So,
So,
what I like about this is, we're going from nothing to something. We're giving Charlie the ability to step up and deal with the nuisance issue. We also have a nuisance bylaw, but that's something.
But we're going, I think we're going the wrong direction. People,
I appreciate
especially,
that, but we're probably going to have to agree to disagree on this.
especially if he's saying he gets calls and complaints, and we have a master plan that was just passed that was suggesting, again, they want to tighten these kinds of things up, and that's what I hear from people all the time,
This-
which was, again,
I'm the
confirmed by
enforcement
Charlie.
agent, and this tightens it up for me.
Yeah, this gives Charlie the tools he needs at this point in time.
That's
to
why I put it
accomplish
in
his
there.
job.
And again, it'll be weaker than,
No,
I'm not going to
enforce
say
it.
all
I
of it, the
enforce
majority
it.
of other towns. We will be weakening our zoning bylaw in a way that most of the residents don't favor.
Okay.
I understand Sue's point, but I want to drop back to Charlie for a second. So, I understand exactly what Sue is saying. We definitely do not want to make it easier for people to just store things around their yard. But you're contending, Charlie, that people are storing things in their yard now without any permission or any regulation. So we're trying to, at least to say to these people, look, if you store something in your yard, you got to go to the zoning board of appeals, or I'm going to shut you off right now. I'm going to keep, because now
Yep.
you're saying you've got a requirement for it.
Yep.
Currently, we don't have a requirement.
Shut
Huh?
what off?
You're going to tell them that they,
Cease and, they're not
currently we
gonna
don't
cease and desist anyhow,
cease
but
and
I
desist
just
or
send a letter.
whatever the case may be, because
It
we'll then have a
It
regulation.
can be enforced in court.
Before we have a regulation, you're saying that you don't have a method to regulate it, or you don't have a method to enforce it because there is nothing written that says you can or cannot do it.
Right.
So I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that I'd take the second sentence out and take away your ability to make a judgment and just leave it to the ZBA. I'd say any home occupation that requires outdoor equipment to be stored in the yard must obtain a special permit. And then I'd slash the next part,
Well,
with the exception of
Well, that's just because, just like a regular, just say,
I understand what it is.
just say a business owner who has a construction company but has a personal vehicle as an F-150 with a commercial plate. I just put that in because commercial and residential don't jive.
Right.
So it gives the ability for, I can tell if they have a sander on it or if it's a big plow truck, a double wing. But at least they can have their personal vehicle, even though it has a commercial plate, without a neighbor complaining. And I know it sounds silly, but it does happen.
It does.
It has a commercial plate on it. Well, it's a F-150. I have a 250 without a commercial plate. I can have mine at home. Why
So
can't the other guy?
The gentleman sees a
That's-
commercial plate and said, that's a business. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The neighbor says, I see a commercial plate, that must be a business.
Yeah.
But I'm
But
also
isn't
going
that
to I'm also going to jump in here. Commonwealth of Massachusetts does not recognize an F-150 and F-250 as a commercial vehicle.
Yeah.
Recognizes as a passenger vehicle for registration purposes. It has a PAN designation.
But they want to charge it to their business for the write-off or whatever.
One way or the other. So, because it has a commercial plate, says it's through a business, not through his personal. But the vehicle itself is not a quote-unquote commercial
Right.
vehicle. The plate does not make it a commercial vehicle.
Right.
The weight and the carryability of the vehicle is what makes it a quote-unquote commercial vehicle. It's a really strange. You probably have the registry
That's
there.
why I picked
I-
Class
I've
2
used this
vehicles
successfully.
and
It's
didn't
not a
put
good way.
commercial.
Yeah.
It's not, and in the private residential areas I manage, this is how we handle it.
And I did not personally
Yeah.
bring up the vehicle part, just the equipment. And
And
I would not want your job in having to enforce this. But I know some people have had disagreements with business owners abutting their property. And if they say, no, you go forward and you have a vehicle to go forward to do something with it.
well, the thing is going with having if they have to go to the ZBA, either ZBA can flat out say no because 8 neighbors come in.
Right. They can listen
Or
to the abutters.
the abutters come in and say, no, we don't mind, but, you know, if you didn't fire up on Saturday till 10 o'clock, we would be okay with it.
Write up conditions.
Yeah, I can't write up any conditions. I can either say yes or no. And when I do get violations, a lot of people don't pay attention to them and just do what they want anyhow.
Let me ask
At
you a
least this is another avenue for the town to protect itself and the neighbors.
Let me ask you a question, this isn't hypothetical, this is a real question. This passes, okay, and then you have to wait the 90 days, whatever, for the Attorney General to approve. As soon as that passes, the 90 days pass. Are you immediately going out to cite incidents of whether it's a violation? Are you aware of these things now, so that when it passes, you're gonna go out and say, you know, you gotta go to the ZBA right now? Or is this just, are we just talking about, you know, something up in the sky?
No, this happens. I wouldn't waste my time
Okay,
and
but
Mark's
so you've got real
time to bring this, yes.
Okay.
And I could name names, but I'm not
No,
going
you're
to.
not interested in that.
That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to try and give clarity to
They're
the
not
people.
watching it anyway, but nonetheless,
I'm here to try and
it's not the right
give
venue for
clarity to people who try and read our zoning bylaw,
Okay.
and they say, well, I'm just a little landscaper and I have this one trailer. Or someone who has a cube truck. On Fletcher Street, we had a person that used to bring porta potties home on a flatbed. Well, it's well over a 350, so now we have the truck thing in there.
That's
We have a
definitely not a
huge,
home occupation.
there's a sign on it that says, it's,
Yeah.
but with that in there, he can't, forget the home occupation part of that, because he has that vehicle there, and it's not a class 2 vehicle or less, I can cite him.
Okay.
Say, you're not allowed to have that, and I can point to the section where it's at. Now I can't point to any section. I say home occupation, and they say, okay.
So, but you're saying that it's difficult to enforce because people ignore you, but which
that.
I
We don't know because we don't have this in place
We
yet.
don't have it.
I don't see that loosening up our zoning bylaw and less than what other towns does makes it easier to enforce. I would go with what is standard in the kinds of towns that Ayer wants to be, and I can understand somebody who's got that and some of this other stuff. You know,
But this is more restrictive than what we have now.
now it's not allowed, and I think we can make it clear by putting in the types of language that other towns use.
Well, this has been out here for quite a while. Why didn't we make changes to it beforehand? Comments on it, so Mark and I could have discussed
It
it.
sounds like
And-
it sounds like we have something to do after this. Possibly.
I mean, you could just put occupation, an occupation conducted as an accessory use entirely
But
within.
I'm going to ask a procedural question. If we don't approve this tonight, it doesn't go to town meeting, correct?
It's already, that's
So it's already
what
published.
Well,
it's done.
Well,
Yeah. So-
either separately, for as far as putting this to town meeting, the planning board has two choices. You can either do warrant article by warrant article and say, take a vote to say that Article 2, we recommend that it go, it be
Yep.
placed on the town meeting warrant. It's on the warrant, but to actually go forward.
We approved.
That we approve of it for a positive vote at town meeting.
Yep.
At some point in the evening, the planning board has to make that motion. If you decide that you would like to scratch the home occupation part of the definitions, you could make that. I would recommend that we do it for each warrant article in turn, so that we don't forget at the end of the night which ones we amended. So that's a possibility.
Okay, so right now, listening to what you're saying, I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
Yes.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 portions of this Article 2. Accessory, home occupation, lot corner, lot frontage. I would prefer, I'm happy to do it any way the board wants to do it, but I see us coming up with a recommendation for town meeting. Unanimous or a vote for yay or nay on each one. It sounds to me like we're at a point now we probably need to take these one at a time.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that said, I know you want to come back to accessory apartment.
Yes.
I'm going to ask a question. Are there other issues with the other articles on this screen with any of the members, lot corner or lot frontage?
Not for me.
No? Okay.
We,
I'm gonna in a moment.
Okay.
Let's talk about Article 2. Because so Sue, in order to get what you want, in order for us to go to town meeting, we have to be clear on this, okay? Whether we support it or not. We're not at a point now where changing the language is something that's going. Changing the language means it doesn't go to town meeting. We end up with nothing, not even half. So what I'd like to do is, if it's okay with the board, and maybe this is the way to get through it, let's quickly discuss accessory apartments. And by the way, the conversation on accessory apartments in my last town was an 11-year conversation. I'm hoping we don't have to do that here. Seriously, they're still discussing it. But I will then, if it's okay with the board, I would like to recommend that we take each one up as a motion, or we take it up and up or down. We vote it, as it currently says.
All we're talking about here is the definition, so.
I know.
We ought to be able to get by the definition.
Exactly.
We go into the rest of it, right? I mean, on accessory,
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you want me to just reiterate
Can you-
what
can
an
you
accessory
just
apartment
quickly-
is.
I'd like to take Article 2 as it,
Yeah.
as
I'm
it
sorry,
sits.
Mr. Chair, I
Yeah,
need
go
to
ahead.
interrupt, but I have addressed this before. I have to leave at 7 tonight.
I
so
understand
I'm
that.
gonna excuse myself.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for all your time, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Julie.
Um,
Don't forget this one.
The other thing is, it shouldn't be in the definition section,
What accessory
the
apartment?
Has to
home
be.
occupation.
Has to be.
It already is.
Well, it's in the definitions now.
No,
So-
because there is a section 5.3.2 that has the rules for home occupation, and that's where it belongs, not the definition section. So that was written incorrectly, which, Mark, getting to your point is, you could spend 11 years on some of these things, discussing them. I think certainly 11 weeks would have been nice to have worked through these, and we keep having the same process problem of getting stuff dumped last minute, and we have to do it now or else. And we don't have time. I think if you have an insufficient process, you end up with an insufficient product. And we're saying, we have to do this or else we have nothing. We have 3 town meetings, sometimes 4 a year. We should have started on this right around the time of the last town meeting. Now might be a good time to start on it for the next one and get something really good that will be easy to defend also at town meeting and will actually make the town a better place.
Thank you.
Okay, well, to that end, I just wanted to put out that, I do plan to work on some more major zoning amendments for the Springtown meeting. And Alan Manoyan will be working on form-based codes, which he wants to meet with the board about, several meetings. And I'll be working with the board on the major zoning amendments too. It was our feeling, both the building commissioner and I, that, these are more clarification amendments, and so that was the reason we did it internally. And, drafts were circulated of these amendments, up to 6 or so weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, but, I'm amenable to, home occupation if the board feels it needs a little more thought into how it fits in with the existing bylaw. I would recommend we keep the other definitions in. But, I can see Charlie's point that it makes his job easier to put that clarification about the vehicles in the definition. And I don't think it harms things to do that. But if you want me to talk about the definition of accessory apartment, basically it's a subordinate dwelling unit that's smaller in size than the major primary unit. It's envisioned in our bylaw to be a part of a single-family home, either as an attached with a single-family home, or it could be a detached structure, as long as it's below a certain percentage of the floor area of the existing unit, or 750 square feet.
Excuse me.
The primary.
Smaller than 750 square feet?
750 or smaller.
750 or smaller. Yeah, that's in the provisions that's coming up later.
I just want to make sure we don't trigger, it's so small, it doesn't have to pay attention to the building code.
No, it's-
Well, in our zoning, we ran
Just
into it
want to make
last
sure.
time.
Yeah.
You have to have someone, I think Mark's taking care of that. through-
Good, okay, because our minimum livable structure before was 750 square feet.
Yep. And also, what's important here too, one important thing that gives a little more control and comfort, I believe, to neighborhoods is that one of the dwelling units, either the primary one or the accessory, has to be owner occupied. and basically,
That was the sticking point
yes, so it's a fairly
in my last
simple,
community.
concept for the definition. When we get to the entire bylaw amendment on accessory apartments, we'll go through the other requirements.
Is that it for Article 2?
I have no problem, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go
with
ahead.
the definition, but it's going to relate to the other amendment. And just to make real quick, the amendment for accessory apartment is here to here. Here's another town's, it's 4 pages, which is pretty common. I don't think that's ready either. We could go through everything that's missing in it,
I'll
from
go to
changing
accessory apartment
ownership
real
to
quick.
everything, but I think that's something
Yeah.
that we missed a
Excuse
lot.
me. So Article is that the end
I'm
of
going to
Article
go to
2?
the accessory apartment right here. One thing I will note about this is that this language in its entirety was in the original bylaw as proposed by Judy Barrett. So it is just being put back. So this language would have been voted on at the March 19th town meeting, and, but there were various internal discussions about,
Mhm.
do we need to think this through a little bit? So for that reason, we took that text out.
Yep.
So we're just putting the exact same text that was prepared by Judy Barrett, who's a well-known zoning consultant. And I don't think its shortness or its length has anything to do with its quality necessarily.
Okay.
But
So if I may, if we please go back to Article 2. I'm looking at,
right.
so Article 2 on definitions. We've now discussed the definition portion of Article 2, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. How would the board like to move? You want to do a motion by article? Or motions in its entirety?
One
Approval,
article.
how do you want to do it? It's up to you guys.
It's all one
I think we
article.
want to do it by article,
Okay. By each article, Article 2, Article 3, Article 3, okay.
article by article.
Article, but then I will entertain a motion to accept Article 2 as amended and presented.
So moved.
No?
I have a second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Again, I think there's a lot from the basic fact. Even if we agreed with the second paragraph, it doesn't go there. It goes in section 5.3.2 that has the rules about home occupation, and it's not what our residents are asking us to do.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, so I'm not totally disagreeing with Sue because she has many valid points. But I am trying to fall back on the fact that the building commissioner and the town planner have worked this through. So I'm depending a little bit on them and the fact that they've faced these issues and feel that these are good changes at this point. We're only talking about definitions. And I'm also thinking about the future, that we can come back to this if we have to and correct it again. And I know it's a step, but this could be one step to get us started to the point that you made, which is very, very valid, that it needs to be continued to be worked on. So I'm going to vote in favor of the motion based on the fact that the two professionals have done the bulk of the work here, and I'm going to accept their opinions at this point in time.
I have nothing to add to that, so I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay?
I'm going to go with no abstentions. And I might have to just, in Ms. Murray's behalf, start voting R every now and again. CPA does. Thank you. So that motion passes 2-1. Next, please.
Okay. This one we need to.
Article 3 we've discussed. Any more discussion? Or would I accept a motion to approve Article 3 as it's amended?
I don't think it was amended.
Wasn't amended. As
Number 3,
presented.
pre-existing non-conforming.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm referring to the bold-faced text as the amendment that's being brought to us right now.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm not going to go any farther with that one. Thank you.
And Mark, I am going to get to one where I think you were a total genius.
Keep going.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
And
this,
I,
After
do
all,
apologize.
after-
Excuse me. I apologize for trying to be as expeditious as possible.
No?
But it's 7-0 last night. I turned the game off and missed most of it.
Okay.
We missed a. Sorry, I'm a real baseball guy. But
Did you make a motion? Did you call the vote?
I'm sorry.
You didn't-
Yeah, we called the vote.
yeah, it
didn't-
was
okay.
3-0.
Unit 3 unanimous.
This one I'm coming back to, this has
Thank
to do
you.
with how you
And
calculate.
then that will be the one that gets voted down in town meeting.
This?
No, the one that we voted unanimously.
Oh, okay.
At least
We're not.
something
We're not
we
going to let
missed.
them pick it
All
apart.
right. Article 5, this is amending section 6.3, which has various provisions for, things like corner lots, cornices, decks, and that sort of thing. Most of this was flagged by our building commissioner, so
Yep.
I'll have him address the text in blue.
Yeah.
Can I actually ask a question in a different way? Do any of the members of the board who've had this language for a while now have any questions specifically for Mr. Schultz about this? And I'll say this, I recognize that cornices and eaves are a difficult thing.
Yeah, they're fine.
I appreciate what you've done here. I mean, I really do.
Oh, you saw that?
I do
report?
appreciate what's, I mean,
I don't know how
6 inches,
that got by.
it's just, well, because most of us don't go through it day to day.
Yeah. It's,
So,
Okay, so we're taking out that 5-foot thing. That was going to be my question right there.
well, here, I can give you the reason why. Unless approved by building and fire departments, the reason that's in there is that for a fire truck to get by, 5 foot off each person's lot line gives you 10 feet.
yes.
10 feet off the building gives you 10 feet for an emergency
Getting a
vehicle to get through. In a lot of these older neighborhoods, people have wrought iron fences. So if the building commissioner and the fire department go out there and look at it and say, look, we're going to have to knock everything down, go ahead and put your shed on the property line because there's already a fence there, then we'll say okay. Otherwise, they would have to go to the ZBA to get approval to put it.
Well, fences don't count, and isn't there pre-existing non-conforming that are already?
What do you
No,
mean?
I think the point is, if they want to add a shed to a place that already has an impediment in place, a structure of some sort, like a fence,
Right.
this just allows them to do it with the approval of the fire department and the building department.
Without going to ZBA.
Without sending
Can't
it.
they put in a fence as long as?
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with
So,
that.
so, if a fence is pre-existing, they can put a shed there without getting permission.
Okay, this is one of the other things that I looked up in about 10 different towns and couldn't find anybody who allows an accessory structure in front of the lot line.
We don't have it in front.
I think you
No.
got it written wrong. Sue's correct. This is written wrong.
No, it'll come
commas,
up.
No
We're
accessory
not done.
structure
Unless
shall
you
be
change-
closer to the
I
front
did.
lot line than the front building.
Principal building, yes.
Then the
Yes.
principal
Then
building.
it says,
Yes.
but then it says comma, unless approved by the building and fire. So we're thinking that that's an exception to the front lot.
So we
That's
need
not
to
what you
change the
want.
wording.
It's in the wrong location. The wording's in the wrong place.
Okay, so what
That's
do you
all
mean?
it is. Yeah, no, I made sure that nothing can be, because
Unless
that's,
approved by the building and fire departments, no accessory structure shall be closer to the front lot line than the front building line of the principal building on the lot.
No, that's not what he wants.
we want,
That's, it's,
the fire department I
It's
talked
not
about
like
it,
that.
and it's for the 5 foot, 10 foot
Yes.
setback, not for the accessory structure to be closer to the front lot line than the principal building.
Can we write it differently?
I would think that's a very minor change.
Comma should be after the first
that would be a
sentence.
floor
Yes.
change.
The first sentence. Shouldn't it be in the very first sentence?
Accessory, one story not should be closer to structure than 10 feet,
Comma.
and then
Unless
2
approved by the
stories,
building and fire
15.
Yep.
No.
Put the, unless, go after 15,
Take the blue, stick it here after a comma.
and after 15. Put it after
Yes.
15.
Yes.
I thought-
And then the last
Yeah.
sentence is no accessory structure shall be
Yes,
So
closer.
take
you're
that-
right, Ken.
Definitely don't want it in the
So
last sentence.
No.
No,
Belongs up top
10 feet,
Yeah.
period, change
Yeah.
period
to
to
a comma. I think you
Yeah.
put a comma.
Don't touch it, Charlie. It'll
and
go
just put
away
it
like
right
you.
there.
No, that's
Put
all
that
Oh,
right
okay,
there.
good. You can touch it. You can touch it.
Yeah.
Detached.
And-
Charlie's recommending moving it up to 15
And change
feet,
the
comma.
period in the first line to a comma or an
Yeah.
or.
Yeah. So what is it? So the no
It's actually
no
one
accessory
story
structure
comma.
shall be closer than 10 is the last sentence.
What are you
Yeah.
trying?
And you're moving
what are
the
you
blue
trying to
writing
get across?
toward the top.
We're trying to get.
You've nailed it. We need to move, unless approved by the building and fire departments, to after the period in 15 feet.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
15
And-
feet or 10 feet? The first
15, we want the exception to go to both.
Both, yeah.
So,
It's more for the rear
I'm
side
going
property
to
line.
move to
Okay, so you're basically saying that,
amend this to, on the first line, after 10 feet, change that to an or, the period to an or, and to move the last phrase, unless approved by the building and fire departments, into the second line right after 15 feet, comma.
That would take care of it.
Yes. And replace the comma after the word lot on the final sentence with a period.
okay, so now I get it. So
So it's going to, if I may, it's going to read, a detached accessory structure of 1 story shall not be closer to the principal structure than 10 feet, comma, then 10 feet, or a detached accessory structure of 2 stories or more shall not be closer to the principal structure than 15 feet, unless approved by the building and fire departments, period. No accessory structure shall be closer to the front lot line than the front building line of the principal building on the lot, period.
and we never want that. We
Right, never want it in
never
front.
want it in front of it.
And if I can, I hate to do this to you guys, but that line that's scratched out should be the first sentence.
Accessory structure shall be no closer than 5
5
feet to any
feet to any
of the-
side. Yes, because we don't want them just to be able to do that
Yes,
unless we
I
look
agree.
at it. What happened was I think I underlined it and Mark thought I crossed it out and we just, so that should
Will you
be,
guys learn to play better?
we've been busy. I have another job. and
Accessory
anyhow.
structure shall not be no closer than 5 feet.
That should be the first,
Oh, it's fine in the article.
oh, it's
Yes.
fine in the
I
article?
thought
Yeah.
the article was
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
It's in the article.
This is one of the
Isn't
reasons
it?
why I just wish
No,
we had
it's
more
a-
time.
Yeah,
It's good.
any structure should be no closer than
I-
5 feet.
I-
Oh,
I think it's
It's fine
going
in
to be
the
so
article.
confusing that the warrant
Or is
has
it
already
not?
been published like this, and
No,
we're
it's
going to have
not.
to go,
How is it written differently in both?
actually, it's this change and that change, and
well, we're just doing this tonight because of this reason. It's just minor wording that's able to be changed.
yeah.
And this is just Mark's work,
We have
and
to-
I have,
Next time we
I
have
know.
to just push it out at town meeting and get it done correctly.
well, this is correct
This
just
is-
by moving that sentence
Well,
up.
she's got a valid point. We shouldn't be tweaking all this stuff at the last minute.
And
Well, I don't care, don't have it at town meeting at all, I go home and watch the game. I don't have a problem with that.
Did you, is the 6.3K decks, I didn't
We haven't
understand that
finished
because
with the one
that's,
before it.
oh, well, that's part of the,
Right, the warrant is published different than what's on the board.
I know.
The next section of on the warrant, I'm reading the printed warrant, right?
okay.
Yeah.
It says,
Yeah.
except, it adds that unless approved by the building and fire departments after the 5 foot.
Yeah, I know.
So it
I
is,
just crossed
Heather
that
just
out.
pointed it out.
Yeah, I just crossed it
So
out
I don't
online.
know-
That needs to come out. I don't know how.
I don't know which one we're using.
What you're
but I
really
know-
trying to state is there's no chance in any situation that any accessory building
You
will
want
be
to
closer
read
than
that.
5 feet to the lot line. You never, under any circumstances, want it closer than 5.
No, we don't.
That's your goal.
No,
So
that's not a goal.
Charlie, you want to.
You want it 10 feet or 15 feet or
No.
further.
Right now it reads, any accessory building, I don't have it in front of me, shall be no closer than
50.
5 feet to the rear or the
Oh.
side lot line.
Okay.
And no closer than 10 foot to the structure or 15 foot if it's a 2-story one.
Right.
So what we're saying is that if you already have a shed up there or a fence and nothing can ever go there, and it's already right on the lot line, the fire department, if they don't care and they know they can get a vehicle through, we'll let them put another 10 by 12 shed beside it or something of that nature. And the same with in between the house.
Okay.
It's not, that's why it has to be a site visit
Yes.
to do it, but there's certain circumstances where it restricts people from being able to use their property like other people. And most of it's all in the older neighborhoods where it's pre-existing non-conforming.
Okay, well,
And if the fire department doesn't think they can get their vehicle through it, we're gonna say no, we're not gonna say yes.
I don't think we should make any
But
changes.
there are other
Just leave
reasons,
that
aren't there?
sentence.
For what? For the 5 and
For it
10?
not to be right on the lot line? I mean, not everybody can fit a swimming pool in their yard. Not
Swimming
everybody
pool's
can
gotta,
put a shed in their
Sense is,
yard.
right.
And I also have questions about the setbacks for the deck, because That was
This is
crossed
not
out in the
on there.
latter section where it had a
What?
longer.
It's the one above, isn't it?
Unroofed porches,
No,
6.3D.
that, 6.3K,
Yeah,
it says half the
That's
setback.
restructure,
It was
so
crossed out
I
later
know the
where it
25%
says
Oh,
there
okay.
should be
Now I
a full
see it.
setback. Some of these setbacks are 10 feet. You're saying somebody can put a deck within 5
Right-
feet of their neighbors.
right now, how our zoning's written, a deck is an unroofed porch. They can put it right up to the
No,
sidewalk.
deck is in here and we're actually asking us to cross it out tonight, which I'm thinking cross
I'm
that out.
confused.
He's
And
adding a section with decks.
deck is here.
Yeah, but he's adding another piece for decks.
It's less than what's already in there. Right now, they have to meet all the setback requirements. This is saying they have to meet half. Since some of the setback requirements are 10 feet, you're saying somebody can put a deck in
Do you want to
5
know
feet
why?
from their neighbor.
Would you like to know why?
Yes, please.
Because right now, if this doesn't pass, we have unroofed porches under 6.3D, and a deck is an unroofed porch because there's no definition that changes.
It says deck on 7.2.
Right, but they can call it an unroofed porch when they submit a building permit to me. They don't have to call it a deck. An
So
unroofed
then,
porch.
then again, if we said that we want decks to meet
We're adding.
the setback requirements, why don't we just define deck?
I think we're adding it. in that-
Which is what
this
you're
article
doing.
right here. You might have missed it.
It's already in there, it was right here, right before in-ground swimming pool, and we're crossing it out.
There's a misunderstanding.
A deck was already in there, we're crossing out the one where it
Because
says
we
that
covered
decks
it in-
have
because-
to meet all current setback requirements, and adding it in there and saying it has to meet half the setback requirement.
I was trying to
So
explain to you
again-
the reasoning. Under 6.3D, it says unroofed porches. They can go up to the edge of your sidewalk.
Right.
If you have a house, a split level, that's got a door that's 10 foot off the ground on Main Street, you can run a deck, unroofed porch, right up there and have big lolly columns down to footings, right on the sidewalk, and I can't say you can't do it. So
You could
we,
just cross out unroofed porch.
and they're gonna, and people are gonna shoot it down. Why should they give up what they have now? So for concession, we said, well, we'll let them have decks, we'll add it in, take out unroofed porches, so people can't come in and say, this isn't a deck, even though it is, it's an unroofed porch, because there's no clarification in the definitions in any dictionary I could find. And we're saying, well, because we're taking that out, we'll cut the setbacks by half. I don't care if you don't cut them at all. I'm just saying, as this is written right now, you can have a deck up to the road.
Well, nobody is giving up anything because it would be pre-existing non-conforming. It's just saying
No,
that.
this
This is
got nothing to do with
brand
that.
new.
This is new. This
is
could
all
be
new.
new.
This is
What
new.
Betty's saying is you've got an unregulated item that's called unroofed porches, which
Yeah.
people say is a
Well,
deck.
nobody's giving it up if it's new construction.
No,
He
what
was
he's-
saying people aren't going to give it up.
I'm saying
Nobody's
also-
giving anything up. If you have a little porch with steps that go down to the sidewalks in some of these older neighborhoods,
Yeah.
nobody has to give that up. What they are
course they
gonna
don't.
have to give up is their future ability to build a deck that is 5 feet from their neighbor's window.
No, they're not, they're
No,
just gonna call it
there's a
an unroofed
misunderstanding.
porch.
Put it right on the
What
property
he's
line.
saying is that people say that we don't have a definition, we don't
Then
have a deck.
cross out unroofed right there, you're crossing out unroofed porch. You currently say deck in here.
Okay, he's saying that people today believe and get by calling their deck an unroofed porch. They're calling it an unroofed porch. Therefore, they can build it all the way to the property line, because there's no way to control an unroofed porch.
They have no
So
There
he's-
setbacks.
is a way, you either define it or you cross that out, it's crossed out there,
I
right?
know,
Yes,
because he
we're
wants to
removing it.
replace it, he wants to
I'm
get rid of it.
crossing it out.
Because we can't control
But
it.
when
So
you
we
go
can
to,
get rid of it.
Yes.
It's gotten rid of.
we're get-
Okay, so we don't need to add in there that a deck can be half the setback requirement, when right now, a deck has to meet the full setback
No,
requirement.
it doesn't, because
Yes, it does,
they're
7.2.
building it as an unroofed porch. That's what
Cross
he's
out
saying.
unroofed porch. and then leave the
And-
section that says deck has to be,
That's up to the planning board. We put that in for a concession because we're taking away the people's right now to call a deck an unroofed porch and build it up to their lot line or their neighbor's lot line. So we figured for town meeting purposes, someone might complain about losing this right. So that is why we cut the setbacks down on a deck.
if they already have it, they already have it. They're not losing anything.
Good, they're
We're saying
leaving unroofed porches.
in the future, that we could do what the bylaws intended, which is make decks required, meet setback requirements. I live in one of those neighborhoods. My neighbor, her house is within inches of the property line. If I put a deck out there and I was entertaining and barbecuing right next to her window, she'd have a fit. And there are a lot of other houses here, and I think you have to balance somebody's wanting to build a deck in the future with their neighbor's rights to.
I'm confused.
Right
I'm
now,
just totally
7.2
confused.
says decks must meet full setback requirements, and I think we should
Yeah, but
leave that.
6.3D says decks don't even have to meet any setback requirements.
No,
Yeah, it does.
it says unroofed porches.
That's
We
what
can
a
cross
deck
that.
is.
We can cross that out or redefine it.
All right, go ahead. When you go to town meeting, I don't think you're gonna do well. If you want it to pass, it's up to you. You guys are the planning board. I'm just giving you my input.
Oh, I see what you see, you're just crossing it out there, okay.
In two places, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, a deck is already in there. And apparently, people were fine with it, except for a few people who were trying to argue their way into.
Who was fine with it? When do
They were
you,
fine with it when it passed.
this?
The first time.
This,
the first time, back in
7.2.
March.
When
What-
they
what-
passed
what paragraph
7.2,
is it?
nobody,
Was there any changes to
it was right
7.2?
here,
We
the
can hold it
original.
all.
Well, later on, there's some-
He's got the bylaw, right?
No, I mean, at the March town meeting, we're going back to the March town meeting.
Yes.
7.2, every place that it says in-ground swimming pool,
Yeah,
it originally said
Oh,
And
decks
attached-
and
attached decks.
and-
And text, yes,
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Charlie recommended that that be stricken.
because we're gonna deal with it here.
Yes.
But that's a
That's
deck
what she's
attached to
talking
an
about.
in-ground to a pool.
No,
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 And-
it's a separate thing.
separate, two separate
It
items.
reads
But
attached decks and.
what
And-
Charlie is saying, in order to get people to pass this, we should cut it in half.
So why
People
did you
already
change that?
voted to
Because that
accept
was what Charlie.
decks
But that's what's
with
in now.
That's
full
what's, yeah, that's not, yeah.
setback requirements.
Yeah, but they also voted to
We
accept
also voted to accept
decks with no
decks being-
setbacks.
As being
That-
defined as
it
Mr.
does
Chairman.
not say deck, it
Mr.
says
Chairman.
unroofed
But that's
porch.
what, you can't.
I'm sorry, Charlie, please.
Okay.
We're gonna lose a quorum in a few minutes.
I agree with Sue on this one, and I believe that she's correct, and that the town meeting voted, and it would have been much more easily lost in the language, the little tiny bit of unroofed porches versus the requirement elsewhere in the bylaw in 7.2 that the decks comply with the setbacks. So I'm gonna agree and say that all we vote on is the removal of the scratching out of the unroofed porches. And
I'll
take a
accept
shot
the
at town
motion to
meeting.
that, I'll accept the motion to that.
Is part of your motion, just to be clear, remove the deck definition of
Correct.
ground? So you're removing that, but we're changing 6.3G
Amend 6.3.
as previously amended.
Yes.
I've got
So
to- Mr. Chairman, I
6.3D,
have to-
I'm sorry?
I have to. Are we
Thank
almost
you,
done?
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Thank you.
And I think we can, and it will pass a town meeting.
So, the amendment, if I'm correct, 6.3D, cornices and eaves, we will remain with, they will strike the words unroofed porch.
No, the motion that I'm making,
Yep, go
I'm
ahead.
looking at the board, okay?
Yep.
The
Mhm.
motion that I'm making is that we remove the reference to 6.3K decks.
Yes,
Be removed in its entirety.
yes,
And that we clarify the sentence that's got the strikeout through it,
Yes.
that it belongs without the strikeout,
Mhm.
Yes.
that it simply states
Yeah,
what
which
was
it
already in
is.
the bylaw.
Which it is in
And we
the warrant
accept
article, you just have to
The
take out
strikeout
the,
of unroofed porches.
unless approved by fire.
We accept the strikeout.
And we
of
accept the
unroofed
strikeout of
porches.
unroofed porches.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just was going from the top down,
Yeah.
Ken. Okay?
Was that a motion?
Yes,
Yeah.
I got it, don't worry.
Do we have a second?
Wait a minute, excuse me.
Yes.
There's one other piece to it. And I go to Heather for this, okay?
Yes, sir.
Because I've got the,
Yep, yeah, I have it too.
now, right, but in the last portion on the one I'm looking at,
Yes.
where it says, there is a comma in unless
Yeah,
approved by
perfect.
building after the 5 foot.
Yeah, no, that's to be taken out.
Okay, well, that's, okay, then we have,
And that would have, but the thing is that, I think that had, again, have to be on town meeting floor, all of this would have to be. Because Charlie doesn't want to, I don't, you'd have to clarify it with him, I think I showed it to him, and he said he didn't want to.
so what we're looking up on the board, Mr. Chairman,
It's not.
the sentence that puts, it's
Yeah, that-
strike through is the word I'm looking for, strike through.
Mhm.
Should be
Follows
as is.
by more language
Yeah,
that says
But
approved.
in the
unless
warrant article,
approved.
it has more language
Right.
to it, which should not be there.
So my motion is going to include accepting the language of Article 5 and removing in the second to the paragraph that refers to the 5 foot any rear and any accessory closer than 5 feet, removing the language unless approved by the building and fire departments.
Mhm.
In addition, moving the paragraph 6.3K, which adds a description of decks,
Mhm.
or their setbacks, I should say.
I got it. So you're taking that out.
Just to clarify, did you say remove unless approved by the building, or we were going to
Yes.
move that?
See how,
This
see
is
what,
in the
how
article.
it's written in the
Okay.
article, it's written under the 5 foot.
Got it,
It's
To
duplicated.
do that,
Oh.
so, and it shouldn't be,
got it.
because he doesn't want anything 5 feet.
Second,
I don't want any exceptions to the 5
No,
foot
he doesn't
rule.
either.
Okay, well, how did it get printed?
second.
He did, I
All in
don't think
favor?
it.
Well, any discussion?
I'm sorry, any discussion?
Yes, this is a substantial amount of discussion. I am so on board with Sue Kennedy on this.
That's
The
okay.
fact that this language is, there's too many mistakes in the typing alone of this stuff.
Mhm.
I do believe we can get it done anyway at town meeting, perhaps with a couple amendments, but there's no question that, you know, we shouldn't be missing things like this, or have things in one presentation and different on the table and so forth and so on. So it is what it is.
Is anybody else gonna feel like we might look like fools having to explain
No,
this whole thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's bona fide what we're trying to do here, and a couple of minor changes on time running floor shouldn't be the end of the world. It shows we're working on it, as far as I'm concerned. So that's all I have for discussion.
Procedurally, when we get to the floor, I'd like to have a presentation for each one of these changes
Mhm.
that we can go through
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah.
I would like, I think you'd be, and I'm reading the tea leaves. We're going to present this to the town meeting. I have a feeling we won't be successful because, well, who knows? Planning, zoning articles have changed over time. But, yeah, I think we can do it. We can present it in such a way. We can get the language set up in such a way that, okay, I've been looking at this off and on for so long at this point,
Mhm.
so.
I think, you know, by the fact that we're having a meeting tonight and we're discussing this stuff in detail, shows that we're putting in an effort to make it the best possible article, and that's my approach.
I agree with you. And we have 0 residents involved in the conversation.
Exactly. It is an open hearing, a public hearing.
Yep.
Um,
So, having said that, for the small minority of people in our town that this will impact, I'm sorry?
Ruth is here.
I understand that. Ruth's always here.
Oh.
I've asked Ruth to run for the board.
She's somebody.
And Ruth, you don't take that, you take no offense at what I just said, right?
Historical Commission has to show up to know what's going on.
I'm sorry?
oh, That's right.
Historical Commission needs to
Yeah,
keep an eye.
exactly. So, but we don't have a crushing number of residents hear about this. I appreciate the desire to get it right. I really do. I also appreciate that we've got to give our town professionals tools to work with as we move forward. And sometimes half is better than whole. And sometimes giving, we just put idling diesel trucks on Sunday mornings in your neighbor's yard if this doesn't pass a town meeting. We've just put piles of landscaping equipment.
They're already there.
I appreciate that they're already there, but we've not taken any positive steps to change that. So,
I
I'm
think we
getting-
should
I'm-
immediately
still
next
have 4
meeting
more
put
articles.
I'm sorry.
on the agenda to begin working on it.
I'm sorry.
I think there are some things that we need to immediately begin next meeting working on instead of waiting to the meeting before town meeting.
That's fine. We are where we are.
Okay.
Okay. Part
Are we
of life is figuring out where we are and where we can go, and not saying I hate where I am and I'm going to fix it. I'm serious. So, with that said, have we got language in this that you're comfortable that you can make the changes to in order to make a presentation to?
Yes.
Okay.
For Article 5.
For Article 5, thank you.
I'm not the
Which is
zoning
confusing,
expert.
it's Article 5, Section 6.3,
I just take
stuff like
notes.
that. Okay. I'm going to call, we have a motion, we have a second, we've had the discussion. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let's go.
Okay, what I'd like to do for the rest of the presentation is talk about those that I had total control over. It was somewhat difficult to go back and forth to get all the language perfectly correct for these minor ones, but there was one other article, Article 7, that was heavily informed by the building commissioner. My recommendation would be to continue the hearing to October 23rd.
That's at the town meeting, you can't do that.
Oh, that's right, we'd have to have a special. Okay, well, I will go back to this one. Article 4, which we haven't touched on. Basically, there's a formula in our bylaw that calculates the number of units for open space or residential developments, which is the default method for subdivisions in the town. However, I noticed when going through the bylaw that there was no provision to calculate the number of units in large site plan applications. If you have, one could envision a condominium-style development, say on 20 acres, where no subdivision is being proposed, but yet there could be a large number of condo units. There is no formula in the bylaw currently that directs one to calculate the number of units. So what I did is I took the exact same provisions that were applicable for subdivisions, and I applied it to a site plan case here in section
When you say
358.
subdivision, you're talking about the open space.
Residential development. Yes.
Not a
Yes.
standard subdivision.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Often referred to as OSRD. People have
OSRD.
OSRD.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I've had a conversation with Mark
Yep.
about this.
Yep.
So, yeah, I assume that. Okay, go ahead.
So this, again, this is something which I think protects the town because we have no provision in there to calculate the number of units if it's only a site plan and not a subdivision. So I think we need a process in place to protect ourselves. And this process is the exact same one that was approved at the town meeting in March for OSRDs.
Okay.
And it's a rational process where you subtract half of the area of steep slopes, the total area of wetlands, you come up with what's called a net developable area or net acreage, and you divide that by the lot size that's indicated in the zoning bylaw to arrive at the base number of units. However, there's an important sentence that I added at the end. Number 3, unit calculation. The number of units thereby calculated may not necessarily be realized due to the distribution of wetlands, ledge, outcroppings, and other physical constraints of the land, as well as applicable requirements of the air zoning bylaw, site plan regulations, Board of Health regulations, Mass Building Code, and other requirements.
Okay.
That's to let people know that even if they come up with a number 10 or 15, that there are other constraints on the land that might not allow them to realize the maximum number of units.
So
So,
I had one question about
Yes.
this. I don't see Conservation Commission in there at all. Do they need to be mentioned in the last group, in the last sentence, as a granting authority? As well as applicable requirements of the Ayer zoning bylaw, site plan regulations,
Yep.
Board of Health, Mass Building Code, and other requirements. Do they need to be? Are they? I see they are approved by the Conservation
wetlands.
Commission up front.
right.
Okay, so I mean they will play a role.
We could add, yeah. we
I look
could-
at it this way.
Yes.
You got a lot that's an acre, 40,000 square feet.
Mhm.
It's got 30,000 square feet of wetland on it.
Yep.
Without this, I can divide 40,000 square feet based on the zoning and I can put up what I want. What this says is that 30,000 square feet of wetland is no longer square foot by square foot applicable in this.
Mhm.
In other words, the number of units are reduced because we don't count it as 30,000 square feet. We count it as a fraction of that because it's wetlands, correct? Did that
This-
confuse you along the way?
A little bit. I mean, you probably won't see a site plan for 1 or 2 units. So this is more for the larger scale.
400,000 square feet.
Okay.
And 300,
Right.
okay?
Yes, but
10
yes.
acres.
Yes, to get your net acreage, you subtract the wetlands.
Exactly.
Yes.
So on a 40,000 square foot, 400,000 square foot lot, a 10 acre lot where 75% is wetlands, the net buildable is only 20%.
Right.
Or 25%.
25%.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, we could add the Air Conservation Commission.
I'm not, I mean, is it implied or do they need to be there? It's just a question.
I have a question. If
Yeah.
it's the language is the same, is
Yes.
the Air Conservation Commission mentioned in the language on the OSRD?
Well, they're part of the process with the conservation analysis. And because we mentioned delineated wetlands in
I think it's
B,
okay.
It's right here, yeah.
yeah, I think that they're covered. I really, we mentioned it,
Yeah.
their role
Mass
in
General
B.
laws.
Yes.
Exactly. So that was my only question.
So
is
I
wanna make
believe
sure-
they are covered.
I don't think we need
Yes.
the belt and suspenders here.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I believe that this is covered, this element is well thought out. There are many towns that have this exact same provision. So to me, this one is
We're in
fairly,
discussion mode,
it
yes.
might be very long, but
So
it's fairly
I
straightforward.
did again, I
Yeah.
went through, I had my laptop open with these 10 towns and went through them all. They do have this type of language in the OSRD. I'm not seeing it anywhere in site plan review. And I think the reason is because we don't need to determine the number of units. The developer determines that. We determine if it's following the rules. We use it for OSRD because what we're doing is determining how many they could fit in this area and then moving it somewhere else. But we can't decide how many they're allowed to move someplace else and how much their 5% bonus is unless we've decided how many they would have been allowed to have. But with site plan review, none of that is applicable. There's no reason to do it. The developer is going to tell us what their plan is. We're going to look at it and see if it fits all the rules for wetlands, setbacks, density, height. It's not our job to determine the number of units.
Well,
That's what we're trying to do now.
but I think I think there needs to be some guidance for, developers to know what they can realistically get. They can't do a plan unless they know. They can't do a plan for 10 units if they don't know they can get 10 units.
They seem
You
to be
see what
doing
I'm
it in the
saying?
rest of the state.
Well, I think
It
this is,
comes in with the OSRD because you're saying, how many could you fit there if you built there? Because you're not building there. You're gonna take that number and squish it over here, and we need to figure what your 5% bonus is. That's why you need it. You don't need it for a site plan review.
I think I have to disagree. Are we in discussion?
Yes, we're in
Yeah.
discussion.
I'm disagreeing with Sue on this because I saw projects come through on site plan review on the commercial side recently that had a large piece of wetland. Now, if they had come in with that with a residential application, they would have been entitled to more units, I think, than we were willing to calculate.
Mhm.
So I think Mark is, I'm speaking for Mark, I'm anticipating that this is a small loophole that we have right now under site plan review, because if we go back to the discussion on site plan review, we have a section in site plan, required site plan review for multifamily.
Yeah.
So
Right, that's the-
because we have that
Yes.
section,
Mhm.
we almost need to interject what we expect if someone comes in with a site plan review for a piece of land that may not be residentially zoned or something like that. Maybe it's, but it could be a 40B, I don't know if it's a 40B application.
40B is good zoning.
They kind of
Yeah.
flip by zoning, I know, but
Well,
No,
Right.
they get permitted by zoning. They
But
don't
it
go
could
to-
we
be-
recently had a change in zoning and change in use over here on Central.
oh, great.
Because it backs out into residential and it faces out into industrial.
Right.
So they had to declare fish or fowl in order to do what they're doing.
So I think
That's
it's,
not a good, I mean, I don't think any of us would agree that that's the optimal use of that land, but that's what our zoning allows them to do.
so,
Well, our OSRD law says that, again, they're building single families,
Yeah.
or
multiples or whatever.
if they're doing multiples, we have the ability to say, whoa, there's this natural resource we want to protect. We're going to ask you to do an OSRD and avoid it. But if they're not doing, a single building on a lot, if they're, if they divide the lot, if they build a road and not every unit has access to a road, we're all going into that OSRD already.
Well, maybe, if it's a subdivision, but I wanted to cover us for, it might be a very rare occasion where we get a condominium-style ownership on one lot that is not subdivided, that doesn't need a new road, that's using existing frontage, where we want some guidance for units in the case of multifamily development.
And it
So,
says we can ask them to do an OSRD.
for the
if
site
they're more
plan?
comfortable.
Well,
In the
OS
OSRD bylaw.
The OSRD bylaw is intended for subdivisions, though, primarily. Are you saying it's specifically mentioning site plan as well?
It says that, I didn't print
Oh.
out, I could have printed out
Yeah.
tons. I did
Well,
so much reading.
Because it's
And we're trying to
compatible,
sort
the
things
two are
out.
exactly compatible. I think this is a measure to protect us in case we do get a large-scale condominium project that does not technically meet the definition of subdivision. I think, this is to give the applicant some guidance and also to protect the town by, taking into account the wetlands and the steep slopes that would otherwise perhaps not be taken into account.
So just to get it a little bit more clarified, your thought process, Mark, is that there are abilities for developers to come in under site plan review
Mhm.
rather than coming in under the subdivision section. And under that site plan provision, we do not have any regulations controlling this subtraction of
Right.
of critical areas.
We have very few controls on the density,
Right.
is what it
I
comes
mean,
down to.
it does mention, how many units can be in a multifamily structure, but, if we do get a large condominium project that's on a single lot that doesn't require a new road, it wouldn't be a subdivision per se.
I keep thinking
It
of
would
air
be a
solar
site
too.
plan.
I keep
So,
thinking of it. I keep thinking of air solar too as that
So,
lot.
and again, just
Sorry,
ask,
Ken, but there's a road there, right?
No, there's no road.
Yeah.
No, there's no road there.
We're not going to go down that. We're not going to go down that one.
But no, you're
This-
thinking more like,
I'm thinking of this, I'm using the precautionary principle here.
He's got
This
a-
is the precautionary
Yeah.
principle. Just in case we do get something like this, we want to be protected. That's why I put this in here.
And
It may never be used, but, I thought, because the site plan section seemed to be silent on this aspect, I thought this would be a good thing to replicate for site plan as it is in our OSRD section.
I find it interesting because I have a road on my property.
Paper road.
We have them in town.
Oh, we
which
have
we do.
plenty of them.
Yeah.
So
No, try Middleton.
I feel this is. So
Can I ask you a question through the chairman?
go ahead.
Don't you feel that this would add a level of protection, like he says, even though we may not get that kind of a development? I know.
I don't think it's, I haven't seen it, I don't think it's used. If he wants to do this, I think the developer is gonna decide. But I'm fine just to let everyone go watch the game, so I will move.
I'll wait for the game.
No, that's
I want to
okay.
get this done.
The game will be
I'm not
really
going
good.
anywhere.
The
I'll
game will be
move
really good.
to what,
You're making a motion to accept Article 4 as amended?
yes.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Any more discussion?
yes. I just want to clarify finally with Mark, one more thing. And that's the numbering and whatnot, 1, 2, A, B, C, 3, is identical pretty much to what we have elsewhere in the bylaw. Okay, good. And the only thing you said you added was the,
Yeah, that last sentence in 3.
The number of units
units thereby
thereby
calculated.
okay,
Yes,
maybe not necessarily, okay. I see.
right.
I only have one more comment on this, and I'm not going to change it, but I would have written it differently, because in the paragraph number 2, it says, the calculation involves 2 steps. And the first step is defined as A, B, and C, and the second step is defined as a 3. I would have highlighted the first one and said step 1, and then gone into step 2, and just described it in a different form. I don't think it matters much here, but when I was reading it a few times, I'm saying, where's step 1, where's step 2? Because you say above that it is 2 steps.
Can we make those amendments?
I don't think, that's why I asked if
Is
it
it
matched
true?
what we had before. If it matches
Well,
what we had
this
before.
is exactly the same as what's in the OSRD
Then
now.
I'll-
So if this needs to be amended, so would
I'm
that.
gonna go with
If
the way it is
if I
now.
can go with anything from the history I learned the short period of time I've been on this
Leave it.
board, we break the language in place 1, it
No.
bites us in the bum in place 2.
Just a comment, that's all.
And I do appreciate, and to be quite honest, we haven't had a Mark Archambault at the table
Right.
ever.
Right.
We'll fix it. We will fix it over time. I've got any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No abstentions.
Okay,
I'm assuming.
Jump
Please.
5
okay,
already.
so that's the 4.
Five, yeah.
Okay.
You did 6 already, right?
No, you did 5, you haven't done
Okay.
6 yet.
5 is numbered with 6s internally, which is what's confusing.
Okay, yes. Okay, Article 6 has to do with, again, this is actually something that I did talk to Judy Barrett about. Right now, in the OSRD section of the bylaw for OSRD subdivisions, it states that 50% of the tract shall be preserved as open space. Unless you're not on sewer, then you can do 40%. However, there is no guidance as to what percentage of wetlands or steep slopes can be included in that 50%. So right now, the way the bylaw is written, somebody could just stick all the wetlands and all the steep slopes into the 50% open space, land that could not be developed anyhow due to the wetland laws and the difficulty of developing on steep slopes. So the language that you see in blue,
Exactly what happens.
It's currently happening here in town in multiple
Yeah.
places.
so the language that you see in blue is something that I took from the Smart Growth Toolkit, which is something that the state put out as guidance for best practices. And I have some documentation to back up this language here. So basically, the way the state of the art is now is that the proportion of such jurisdictional wetlands and steep slopes that should be included in the open space should be proportional to what you find on the parent parcel or the area that's being subdivided. So that's fair. If you have 25% of the entire lot is wetlands, and they would need to calculate this anyway before when
That's
they
right.
come in for subdivision.
Yeah.
So they would know these numbers. Then 25% of the open space could be those lands. So this is a way of being fair, and I've actually written this language into some other towns, the town of Ashby, where I was most recently. So to me, it's fairly straightforward, and it's directly proportional. So if a lot has more constrained lands, it's only fair that more of that type of land could go in the open space. If there's hardly any wetlands on a lot, you wouldn't want to have somebody just stick all the wetlands in the open space. So This way, there's a one-to-one direct correspondence between the land you're trying to protect and what the characteristics of the entire parcel are.
So,
These illustrations are meant to just illustrate how OSRD works. It's not an illustration of that 50%. But,
I was trying to make that.
right, yes.
Those would both be acceptable under OSRD?
What, the plan? Well, the
Yeah.
plan on the left is not an OSRD. The plan on the left is a conventional subdivision.
Yep.
The plan on the right is the
Was open space,
OSRD.
yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Same number of units.
yes.
Thank you.
Yep, so this is just a way of qualifying the minimum preserved open space, so as to, have quality open space that's upland for people to use, and that can be wildlife habitat and that sort of thing.
So,
Do I have a
you're a
motion?
genius. So moved.
Second?
Second,
Discussion?
yes. So this article is a real deal now.
Yes.
Something that somebody could really have an issue with.
Yes.
But my comment on this article, I think I said it before, is I believe this should be universal to site plan requirements and so forth as how we calculate open space in general for all development. Because of the fact that, if I've got a little box over here and I say, okay, 90% of my lot is open space, but it's all wet, I get credit for that. And they just do it.
Member Tiskin knows I fall right in line with
So,
him.
I think the only lack that we have here is that unfortunately we could have brought it further. Maybe we do that the next time.
I think
Well, we could do that in the spring,
Yeah.
if so decided.
Could we put that on an agenda to
Yes.
begin working on it for the spring?
So it
Yes,
falls into commercial development and other development and so forth. Because the way it's written now, we actually deleted something. We actually had something in the old bylaw regarding, I think it was 9%. You couldn't have more than 9% of
Oh.
the land is wetland or something like that. There was some provision depending on the size.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we took that away.
If I remember correctly, that ran afoul
Conservation.
of the Wetlands Act.
Okay.
And what happened is you end up in, I don't remember the particulars of it, but I do remember thinking that, why are we getting rid of it? But it ran afoul of case law in Massachusetts
Okay.
that had to do with Wetlands Act.
Okay. But
And I agree, we're moving forward to
Right.
having the perfect world from zoning, at which point people are gonna live in smaller places and it's gonna disappear anyway, so
I think one of the concerns we have is that
it changes.
we have a lot of places that have steep slopes, we have a lot of
We got a
places
lot
that
of
are
ledge,
wet.
we got a
Yeah.
lot of water, we got a
And
lot of
so
things.
this is gonna, make developers use land, cautiously, I guess, and not just say we can just count that as open space and
Mhm.
go on. So
Right.
I'm all for it.
For the discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
oh, thank you.
I think she said you're brilliant.
Well,
Yes,
thank you, not all the
Yeah.
I
time,
think she
though.
said you're brilliant.
and I like Ken's.
Okay,
idea, too.
this is an amendment that I wish the building commissioner was still here, since this is something that he originated, and in fact, if I could take this, and this is where the strike-through underlining thing was a little bit confusing, so I'm going to hand out this.
This is what was
like-
8 on,
I keep reading the article. I'm just reading the article.
Yeah, this might be. So this has to do with non-conforming single-family and two-family structures. And basically, when it comes, he felt that the language
it's 8
after
on here,
requirements
7 on
in
the thing.
A, there are basically two sets of non-conformities that are addressed here. First is
Drawing?
on a lot that does not conform to the current minimum lot areas. That's the first instance. And then on the next page, the text is the same for each one. Number 2 is on a lot that conforms to the minimum lot area requirements but is non-conforming due to insufficient frontage or setbacks. So what you see in the blue is the same for both. It was the building commissioner's feeling that the text in A, dwellings alteration, reconstruction, extension, or structural change that complies with all current setback, lot coverage, and building height requirements, that the text after that was extraneous or superfluous. And again, I would Okay, we can discuss that because I was hoping, I wanted him to clarify it a little bit more tonight. I'll just move through what's in blue here first. For accessory buildings and structures under B, he felt that if a dwelling's gross floor area was 1,500 square feet or less, that, outbuildings or accessory structures could be a little larger, because he felt that there were cases that came before him where it was hard for them to just meet the 10%. And he felt that if you have a small dwelling unit, then you may need a slightly larger accessory structure that goes up to 20% of the size.
So in practicality, what this says is, using these numbers, my gross floor area in my house is 1,500 square feet.
Mhm.
Given the 10% limit, I could have a 150 square foot shed,
Mhm.
which is 10 by 5 feet, which is not worth building.
Right,
Because nothing we own fits in a 10 by 5 foot
Yeah.
area.
right.
So we can expand that to be a 300 square foot shed at
Yes.
20% of the building area, of the livable
Yeah.
square footage. Okay.
Right.
Or gross floor area.
Yep, so that's the rationale there. And what I added in, I wasn't clear I thought he was striking through the original language, but he wants to keep that, which is the handout that I have here, which is the way it reads now. If the dwelling's gross floor area
You're reading
is...
section A, B, I.
I'm reading 1B, I'm reading actually from the piece of paper I just handed out.
Yes, but you're
because
reading
that's
section B,
Section B,
subsection I.
so 7.2A,
Section.
1B.
Whatever.
So B.
On here.
No, on this.
Yeah.
This is the.
1B,
Yeah.
accessory
Mr.
buildings and
Chairman,
structures.
Mr. Chairman, excuse
Okay.
me. I continue to only use what I believe is published in the warrant.
And that's, yes, and
So that's
it
what
was
I'm
only,
using.
Yes, in Mark's defense, when we posted the public hearing, is in regards to these documents that were in our office and the town clerk's office, so that's why he's going by these.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so
but this
these are
is
the
the
zoning
warrant-
changes. The warrant article, I mean, and then that's with one or two of the different, that's not my, I'm just explaining to you why
What
he's
we're
going
gonna
to
vote
this.
on at town meeting
Well,
is the warrant article.
No, the
No,
Board
because
of
we could
Selectmen
make
voted on the warrant
We could
article.
make the motion.
Say what?
So the Board of Selectmen already voted on the warrant articles.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Hold on,
Well-
please.
They
Yeah,
didn't
let's-
though.
Please.
I know it says that, but that is also incorrect.
All right, so
Okay.
for clarification,
Yes.
I gotta get my hands, I guess, on one of these, because the red line, well, that's the one that was on the website, right? That I read.
7.2.
And the warrant that's published that I have here is not,
I'm looking at them now.
Right.
7.2,
Yeah.
section A,
okay,
looks to be
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah, it is.
7.2, section
A,
A1.
B, Yep.
Why don't you read the warrants and I'll read you the red line item, Ken, so you're happy? But it looks to, one is on a lot that does not conform to the current minimum lot area requirement.
so the change that I see, the only change I see is on A,
Yes.
he crosses out.
From provided to the end of the
right?
sentence, yes.
Mhm.
Which
That,
is what
I
he's got
believe,
over
that
there.
looks to me to be the same.
Okay, and
Under B, accessory buildings and structures.
he crossed out the A as well, I don't know why.
I'm with Ken, I think we need to go over the warrant article because that what is published and is legally going to be debated at town meeting.
Well, the only exception to that, for clarification, is that the article, I've been through this on town meeting floor, they can publish the warrant, but when they actually read the bona fide article, they can change the motion. So the motion can then follow our language that we
Yeah.
have, so.
As long as there isn't anything
So they'll
substantial.
just read
In
the,
a zoning article, you're not allowed to make a.
right, substantial
Right.
change. And
That's
that's,
defined
Yes.
by town attorney.
so they'll maybe start out by saying what the article is, and then when they actually read the motion may include the language that we're talking about tonight, presume.
yes, and I know it's a little bit confusing, but the
Still
language
trying to
may,
just compare the language between the two to determine
Yes.
which one
Do
we
they
should be
match?
Well,
using.
the
Excuse me.
language that is in blue in the handout that I had there right now is in the bylaw now.
Okay.
And because I asked Charlie, because he was so focused on dwelling units that were under 1,500 square feet, I asked him, well, Charlie, what if it's over 1,500 square feet? And he said, well,
No,
then
it's
it's
on
the
size.
existing language.
Yep.
And I said, well, you told me to cross that out, which he did. He had me strike that out. So in order to
Okay, so,
capture both situations for a dwelling that's over 1,500 square feet and one that's under, I added the existing language back into the
Who sent
text.
this language to the town clerk to be included in the warrant?
to the selectmen.
Yes, it
And
was,
where did the selectmen get it?
they get it from Charlie and I.
So you sent one copy to us and a separate copy to,
No, I didn't send, what I sent before to you was what is in the warrant now. But in talking to Charlie about this oversight, about, well, what if the unit is over 1,500 square feet? He told me that he made a mistake and he didn't mean to strike the existing text. So I just wanted to bring that back in.
Okay, so that's
So
the
it's
blue,
a-
that's the blue. you
The
put
blue
there.
is what's in the bylaw right now. It's what's
Okay.
been passed in March. So that should be considered existing. But he had me strike it before. And this is where the confusion about the underlying and the striking was going. We were working back and forth for emails, and when I could occasionally see him person to person.
So let me,
And so I apologize for the confusion about
under
the articles there.
again, in the article, the first sentence under, so we're gonna agree that A is the same, right? Two A's,
Yes,
okay.
I
So
believe
Yes.
moving on to B. So
Yep.
accessory building and structures. Now, what I have on mine is paragraph I, starts out by saying, if the non-conforming single-family or two-family dwelling gross area is under 1,500. And you have, if the dwelling's gross floor area, so there's been a change there too. I like the way it says, if the non-conforming single-family or two-family, which is different than a dwelling. A dwelling can be almost anything.
And if I may, Ken, go back up to 7.2, it defined as non-conforming single-family and two-family dwellings.
Yeah, so we have to kind of keep it
So,
uniform, don't we?
Yes, whether it needs to be replated or not, we can keep moving.
Yeah.
where are we at?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
okay,
lost.
see it.
In the warrant,
That says non-
Article 7, amend Section 7.2 of the Air zoning bylaws, dwellings.
We're going off
In the
of-
warrant, page 8 of 12.
Of this?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
On page 8 of 12, below the fold, below, in the lower, it's Article 7, amends Section 7.2 of the Air zoning bylaw, dwellings. That says 7.2, non-conforming single-family and two-family dwellings. If you go to the
In the article
section
itself.
B, subsection I,
Okay.
it starts with, if the non-conforming single-family, two-family dwelling's gross floor area is under 1,500 square feet. In the language on the marked-up copy, it does not begin the same way.
So, if the dwelling, instead of if the non-conforming single or two-family dwelling.
Okay, well, this is what we got sent.
Yeah, but this
We're
is,
given a couple weeks ago,
this is
so
what's
there's like
printed.
3 versions?
who knows? But I feel that what's in the warrant is correct, is what I'm getting at. That this black text in the warrant, if the non-conforming single-family and two-family gross area is under 1,500, the gross of the sheds and other buildings shall not exceed. He's now saying 20%. He's giving him a break and saying if it's under 1,500, we're going to let you have a larger shed.
Which I believe was the intent in the beginning.
Yes,
So
yes.
we're going with what's in the warrant?
Going with what's in the
What-
warrant.
Seems
what
like the
you
warrant
just
has got-
passed
Yes.
us out.
Seems
Yes.
like,
What you just passed out to us just now.
seems
Well, I just wanted to capture the existing language for
Oh,
units that were over 1,500 square feet, to just make sure that that gets back in there somehow. But we should go
But
with
it's-
what's in the warrant.
that the
We're gonna
last-
put that down the road.
We'll put that, yes.
That's going in down the road.
so it looks like the warrant.
If
is
it's
what we
okay
want.
with the other board members, we're gonna,
Well,
let's
yeah.
stick with the
One
warrant.
okay.
Yes.
So we haven't got to the last one. Then it said,
Yeah.
the last sentence says, okay, so you changed the last sentence, but the last sentence in the warrant says, said sheds and other outbuildings shall meet all current setback requirements, no taller than the dwelling. Yeah, it's not. Is that, so that's language we must currently have. Because the only thing that's bolded is what's changed. If it's not bolded, it's what we have at the
Yes.
moment. Okay. All right, so I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with other stuff here, though, that I'll comment on in a minute. Okay, and
Well,
then,
we're gonna stick
Yeah, I'm gonna-
the attached decks back in?
yes, I'm gonna,
Okay, go ahead.
you can
Go.
move it, you can.
No.
Okay,
Save
so-
me some breath.
I'd like, I guess we make a motion and we talk about it, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve, this is Article 7, as shown in the printed version of the warrant that we have in front of us.
And sorry if I make the special fall town meeting warrant for October 22nd.
Okay. I mean,
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Any further discussion? I'm
yes.
sorry, Ken. I keep forgetting that's your cue.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to endorse 2A by striking out that sentence. I believe that there's a whole section on this in the state code, some regulations that we comply with, which handles this language, and I feel it's very strongly that we passed this in the spring. It's not time to pull this out. To change or alter. I believe the language of the article that we passed in the spring complied with the state regulations
Okay.
that cover alterations and reconstruction to non-conforming existing. So I wouldn't pull that second sentence up, that we would make an exception to
Add that back
Right,
in.
keep
edit
that.
or change that. So that's something we'd have to change on the town meeting floor, I guess, if it's already published or whatever.
I'm in agreement with Ken if we're going to make a motion to amend.
And then item 2B, little section 2, I would not remove the attached decks. I would keep the wording in-ground pool there, but I would not remove I would not strike out attached decks.
So you're unstriking.
Unstriking
And would
attached.
you do that the same with 1?
1B subsection 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Any
So,
reference to attached decks, we covered that already. We're not
Yes,
gonna-
but
Right,
just for
yes.
the purpose of your discussion.
Exactly. We don't want-
So I just was going to ask too that I see you making all these notes. If you could send these out to us later, because if I was you, I would have already totally lost what it was that we were.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I'm
I've been
finding
doing-
it so
I've been
confusing.
doing minutes for 10 years.
Okay.
I could go back 6 years ago and tell you something, reading the minutes that I did, word for word, certain discussions.
Okay.
I mean,
Because I would have trouble
It's gonna
understanding my
take,
notes on
it's
the
gonna
first
take me
one
a
that
few
we
days
did.
to get these
And it
done.
was like, what did we do?
It's gonna take me a few days to get these
We're
done, but
gonna
I'll try
have
to
to
get
have
just
a very
a
specific
rough draft out to you, obviously, but I have this is my third
language
set to
ready
get done.
for town meeting for each of these, that's ready to read, obviously. Covering the details of the
I'm
changes.
honestly getting very quickly to the point where we may not be ready for prime time.
Excuse me, may not be
We
ready.
may not be
for
ready for prime time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was wondering if
And-
7.2 in particular needs further thought, that we not change 7.2 at this time.
I'm fine with that.
That would be my recommendation, especially since, I was a little bit unclear with some of the changes that he was making, and I was frankly looking forward to his explanation tonight to help me understand it a
So
little
we
better.
so we just have a vote.
If I may, and just, if, so, I lost the trail of thought because you wanted to unstrike a sentence and strike a sentence.
Okay, the motion basically is to approve the article as
7.2.
published with a couple of changes.
Yes. Do you want me to go with those changes with you?
No,
Okay.
I'm just, no, thank you.
But we're gonna vote on
Is
that.
that-
If we voted no, then we could just come back
Make a
for
second
next
motion.
town meeting.
On 7, yes,
Yeah.
And do
7.2.
it.
Let's,
So I have a second.
she's been seconded.
So the original motion was to do those two.
Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Opposed?
Nay.
No.
Nay.
There we go.
So now I'll make another motion. And the motion now is that the planning board
Pull that one.
ask that Article 7 be, what's the correct term?
Sent back to committee is almost,
Right,
what is it?
yes,
Pulled, do good, pull the
It's
article.
basically send back to
Return to
committee.
committee
Right.
for further
Return to
review.
committee.
yes.
Yeah, and it's not because it's right or wrong, it's because language was not
Yeah.
included.
Return to committee for further review.
Right,
Yeah, exactly, thank you.
yeah.
Okay,
Thanks. That's my sense of 7.2. I found that to be
Okay.
in need of a little bit further thought, and we can do that for the spring.
I'm going to step back for a minute and just think about this.
Do we have to vote on that?
Yes, you do.
I'm going to ask a question. Mark, you may not know this. I caught most of the Selectmen's recorded meeting about the warrant and the discussion at the meeting about what happened with the vote for the override and how that has been handled between us and Shirley. What I missed, because I had to take a phone call, and I don't have that fancy TV that backs you up and lets you go back and forth.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it is in the meeting, and I'm not going to watch the whole multiple hours again. In looking at the warrant right now.
Wait, you can do is watch it on AirPack,
Thank you.
and you can move it to the point where you see the person who's discussing that, whatever guess they have the back of their head.
Yeah, I
You
know.
see that?
Oh, yeah, I
That
do understand
narrows
that.
it down to,
Yeah. But, so one of the questions was, in the upcoming town meeting, the question I have is, are we still going to be taking up the articles about the, Article 11, I believe?
for the
Just curious.
school funding.
We didn't vote on the motion.
What?
We didn't vote on the motion we used in front of us, which was to
Withdraw? I
withdraw
thought you
it.
did.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Oh, we voted on that?
Yes.
If we don't vote positive.
Oh, you would, I'm sorry, you want to make a motion to withdraw?
I thought we had to
7.
make a motion to withdraw it and agree that we were going to withdraw it and vote.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought
No.
we discussed returning to committee.
I
Oh,
thought
right,
it
which
was,
is-
am I incorrect in thinking that if the planning board doesn't,
No, they can still,
that
it's not
it's
withdrawn.
withdrawn?
It's not withdrawn.
Well, we want to
We did
withdraw
yours.
it with no
Yeah, I
discussion.
believe we'd like to withdraw it, so it's not even on the
Yeah.
town meeting docket.
Well, it'll be on the docket, we will just stand up and respectfully request it be withdrawn.
Yes, yes,
For
Right.
technical reasons.
yes.
Okay, would you like to make a motion to
I already
that
did.
effect?
You already did.
I'm sorry, I didn't, you said I want to make a further motion, okay, I got off on a tangent.
I
Thank
second Ken's motion.
Any discussion? This is to put 7 back in committee, that's basically what it
Yes.
is. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 3 people in a quiet room doing
Okay.
important stuff. Thank you
Two
very much.
more, and hopefully we can do these fairly quickly. Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to ask we do the same thing with the accessory apartment. Again, this one is 5 pages, that's kind of average-ish. There's a lot that I saw on other towns that had to do with ownership and passing it down and whether you can condoize it and the utilities and the construction, that is just not. And I think it would be better to do it right. Wait a couple months and get a really good one instead of going piecemeal. Would that be okay?
It would be okay. I mean, I'll just mention, though, that, I'm just deferring again to my senior in years and experienced planner, Judy Barrett, who, what you see before you for the accessory apartment warrant article is exactly the text that was in the bylaw originally, that because of the building commissioner's concerns about apartments in town and other things, he wanted to withdraw that for the March town meeting where the entire bylaw was approved. So what you see before you is just my putting that exact text back in that she had prepared. So I have to admit that, other than looking at a few other bylaws, I didn't spend a lot of time on the accessory apartment warrant article here because, it was essentially what she had done. But to Sue's point, I am amenable to thinking it through a little more carefully, and I don't think a few more months will make that much difference.
If a quote-unquote accessory unit became used in, not in compliance with this article, is there any enforcement when this article goes into place?
Well, that's, I think, the greatest strength in having an accessory apartment provision in the bylaw now is that if there are some out there that are illegal because of building code violations, or they're too small, and you have 10 people living in a 600 square foot apartment, we may not have, well, Charlie may have in the state building code means to go after those illegal apartments. But I think if we have a good accessory apartment section of the bylaw, that gives him more power to go after the non-conforming ones or ones that aren't legal.
You could actually, in the meantime, build a non-conforming one, and it would be pre-existing non-conforming. And one of the
Right.
things you just suggested that I believe is not in here, what is in here is how many apartments. What isn't, that I saw in many towns, is how many people can live in there, how many bedrooms can be in there. Some have one, some limit to 2 bedrooms. They limit it to 3 people.
This one I thought had a one bedroom.
My experience is many times that will come under the Board of Health code.
You won't go to Board of Health.
That again is one of the many
Number-
things.
number.
It has the
Square
ownership and
square footage for first occupant, square footage for second occupant per room.
Yeah.
There are accessory, Mass General, there's NGL and Board of Health that can also impose that. Of course, the toughest part is getting to open the door when you go to the door and ask. I'm sorry?
I'm in total agreement with Sue on this. I think one of us should make a motion to withdraw Article 9 for further review.
Are you making that motion?
I'll make a motion that the planning board at this time withdraw Article 9 of the upcoming special town meeting of October 22nd at 7 p.m.
second.
Further discussion? May I ask that we withdraw without prejudice?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
It's just for further
And I'll
review.
explain that to the board. We
to do some further, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
going back to committee, it's a really good idea. Let's do our best.
But
Okay?
my
If that's okay
understanding
with you, Mr. Diskin.
Yes.
was actually that
Withdraw
Judy Barrett may not have written that this may have been one of the things that was in there, that when we talked about we need to update some things.
I
But
would
if
also
we're
see
gonna put
that-
it back in, I'd love to update it.
I would also see that it would be important to have Ms. Barrett at this meeting for this piece if we're going to take it up. At this point, we got a lot on our plate.
This particular issue is the type of issue that's open to a lot of debate on the floor and needs to be really thought out so that potential questions can be thoroughly answered.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to remove Article 9 to not take action, request that the moderator not take action, remove the article, what you're saying. Correct.
Correct language is this.
Yes.
Up to the lawyers, I guess, to figure that out.
Okay. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, one last item, which is fairly simple.
Article 8.
Article 8.
Yes.
Again, it has to do with parking. And,
We jumped Article 8, I'm sorry about that.
right.
Turn the page.
And this again, I won't name the address, but, we have seen, again, this has to do with, parking for, having an exception for multifamily dwellings. As we saw, it is hard for these, multifamily dwellings to sometimes, meet the parking requirements, especially if they have to meet the setbacks. So what was done for 9.15C2 was to add an exemption for existing multifamily dwellings, that they do have to provide the number of parking spaces they need, but they're exempt from that 8-foot setback from the building wall. And this is something the building commissioner flagged, but, I agreed with based on our prior experience that, it's, we want them to provide the needed parking, but because of the way these old neighborhoods were built, and the houses are right up to the road in many cases, it's really hard or impossible for them to meet the setback from the structure.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think there's some reasons, particularly for the 8 feet from the building wall. Health regulations. Mr. Schultz was just talking about neighbors complaining about neighbors running equipment. in the wee hours, if you're going to have a multifamily dwelling, you're gonna have somebody could possibly, if there's not an 8-foot, I mean, people do stuff, is being right, 1 foot outside your child's window.
So we're
in the middle of
actually,
the
we're
night.
discussing the motion. Do I have a motion to
Oh.
accept this? Thank you. I thought you were
No.
making
So moved.
I thought you move. Okay. Do you have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
That I think there's noise factors, there's light factors, there's exhaust coming in the window. I think you have to have some, and then there's the safety of careless drivers or bad conditions. If somebody is scooting right against the building and you've got people sleeping in there. I wouldn't have it right.
Thank you.
If 8 feet is, you think is too long, I think there needs to be some. If you don't set a minimum, there will be none.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, then, if the board wants to amend this, I would recommend that this article also be
Yeah.
withdrawn.
So
To
I don't
provide a little
disagree-
more
I
thought.
don't disagree with you. So here's what I'm thinking. We've been going through this on 41 East Main over and over and over again because we're required to have parking be a certain number of feet off the building, a certain number of feet off the road.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, of course you may.
I'd like to remind the board that the underlying portion is for existing
Yes.
multifamily dwellings.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're really talking about conditions that in all probability exist right
Yes.
now. The people are nosed in close to the building, similar to what we saw on Pearl Street.
Yeah.
So this is, again, just I think a clarification by the building commissioner that the first part of it was site plan review. Maybe if you keep the number of spaces below a certain count, you can avoid site plan review. In the process of going through that same exercise, it's clear that we have many existing multifamily homes, and we have many single-family homes of all sorts that we park close to the 8 feet to the building. So
Yeah.
it's I believe the parking space requirement, and I looked at this, another site plan review, tends to lend itself more to new construction, and especially commercial construction, where your concerns are more valid, noise and parking lights. But an existing multifamily home dwelling, I don't think there's any problem with putting that as an exception to the requirement for 8 feet.
I'd be better accepting a commercial or industrial than residential. And the Pearl Street, for example, had the original spaces that were set aside.
Well, there's many, many houses where people are parked like right next to the house.
I don't think it's something that we want to encourage more of.
No, we're not encouraging more of it. It's for existing. It's only for
Yes.
existing.
Yes.
We're not encouraging anything. It's only for existing.
When did
Right.
already
New construction
be-
would have to meet the setbacks.
New
Yes.
construction has to meet everything, but
Yes.
this is basically just
But
another,
if it already has parking there, then it's already
this is an,
pre-existing non-conforming. Nobody could add new parking.
Unless
Closer
they,
to
well,
the
when we
building.
put an accessory, if we allow for accessory dwelling units, it's possible that, you might get an additional unit in there. Or if the ZBA approves an additional unit in a multifamily structure, as we've seen on Pearl Street, there may be a need to put less than 4 parking spaces, namely 2, somewhere. And so the idea here is, if it's impossible, if they can't meet the 2 additional parking spaces with the setbacks, then,
Well, this is for existing, this isn't for new.
This is for existing multifamily dwelling.
right,
Yeah.
but,
So
yeah,
that
an existing
example doesn't
dwelling,
work.
well,
So,
an
Okay,
exist-
okay.
could have an existing that they're adding more
Right.
space to it.
yes, that's what I was referring to.
So I'm now, I hate to say it, lost. We have a motion to withdraw this article.
No, you
Not
don't.
this.
No,
We have
you
no
don't.
motion yet.
Okay.
But some
Accept
of-
it.
You moved to withdraw Article 8, is that what you did?
Yes,
Okay. Sorry, I lost your thread.
For some reason, it
Is-
seems really quiet,
I was
really
going
late
to
at
ask
night.
for a second.
Is it? It is late.
We don't have a second.
Oh, no second. So we go back to the.
You can just second it and vote against it.
Well, you didn't even vote on the last motion. Drives me
You
bonkers.
just second
Your
it
minutes
and vote
drive me.
against it, no?
I get more motions and
Okay.
seconds and then motions and seconds without votes on the first motion.
What's the time frame?
There's no second.
I know. There's no
Okay.
second.
There's no second.
Okay.
Can we go back to the
Okay.
original motion then that we took a motion and second and
Could you
discussed
please
on?
give me the original motion back?
The original motion was to accept Article 8 as presented.
Who made that motion?
Sue made that motion at 8:29. Seconded by Ken.
And we're now at a point where she wants to move to remove
And
it.
she made a motion to remove it
And
at
we were in a
8:34.
discussion. Okay. So our original motion to accept Article 8 as presented, moved and seconded. We just had a discussion on it. Any more
Yes.
discussion? I'm finding this funny. No more discussion?
You wrote the minutes?
All in favor of approval of an 8 as moved by Sue Kennedy?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
I thought you were zoning.
Winston Churchill was right.
So did that,
That passed. That's
that
gone,
passed?
yeah.
Okay,
That
so
passed.
that one is
Yeah.
going to town meeting.
Just as a matter of form, we have now gone through the articles for the town meeting.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
All the
Were you
zoning
going to give
articles.
us an update though on the school?
I don't know. I don't know what
We
happened.
have a hearing that's open.
Oh.
We have a hearing that's open.
You give a hearing that's open, so you have to close the hearing.
Yes, we would have to.
Exactly. So, but I was going to, before we close the hearing, I was going to ask, just to make sure that we've covered all of the articles, because it got a little confusing there in the
Yes.
middle, okay? We've taken action on all the articles we need to take action on, correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, make
That's
sure.
quite all
okay.
right. Now,
Nine
please
is accessory
take your time,
apartments.
make sure.
Yeah, just make sure, that's it. So I'll go backwards now. So we did, 9 we
Removed.
removed, 8 we just did,
Yeah.
7 we removed,
Mhm.
6
We
we
agreed
Yes.
with it.
Yep.
did,
It's not far-reaching enough, but we did it.
5 will need some work,
But
Yes, on
yes.
town meeting floor, yes.
yep. 4,
You approved,
okay, yep.
right?
3,
I gotta look back at my notes. Four
4.
you approved, yep.
3 was approved,
Yes.
and 2.
5 was approved,
I think we
3
did.
was approved.
2 is approved without the
2 was
well,
approved, yes, and 2
yes.
voted no. Yeah.
Would you please go forward to Article 3? Article 4? Article 5. I'm looking.
Oh,
This is. Oh no, that's it. Article 5. This is the one we had gone forward to it, and we had
yes,
moved language around.
Yes.
right.
And this is something that we're going to get a copy of. From
Yes,
as
we have
quickly
to,
as
yeah,
possible.
we're gonna meet tomorrow
Okay.
and get it.
So,
If I ever
Mr.
get to
Diskin,
that,
it looks
we're
like you have
gonna
something on your mind. Okay.
I'm just saying, so in summary, the town planner, the town administrative assistant will be finalizing the language
Yes.
in the next few days. That's going to be what we take to the town meeting floor.
Yes,
We would appreciate that. Getting sooner
Absolutely.
Versus later.
So we
Okay.
can take another look at it
Yes.
yeah.
thoughtfully.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With that being said, any input from the audience? I like how you all looked.
We
With no
only
input
one
from the
person.
audience, I'd like to close the hearing. Susan, do you have anything to read for closing the hearing?
No, you just close the vote.
Okay.
Motion to
Motion, I would
close
entertain a motion to
hearing.
close the hearing, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Before everyone leaves, we got a couple things we gotta get done.
Yep.
Please do.
So,
I'm just gonna exit out of this now.
yep,
I have to leave the room for a moment.
when we take, let's take a recess.
Take a recess.
Thank
5
you.
minutes.
This is why you hate when I volunteer to work at 4 a.m.
I'm always at the four.
I have to be to work at 4, I gotta get up at 2:45.
Every day. As a matter of fact, I sent an email to a guy who got on a plane last night and got off the plane. And
He got
he's like-
on the plane and then he
No,
got
he got
off
on the plane. He sent me an email sitting to get on a plane, okay? And he flew across the country and lost time. When he got off the plane, had an answer from me. And he did the math. And then he looked at it, he was tired, he goes, "You wrote that at 2:27 this morning." I said, "Yeah. What did you expect me to respond?" I woke up, saw it, it's a hot
Oh, yeah.
topic.
I do that, so like people like message me on Facebook at like 11 o'clock at night, says, "Do I get up at 2:45 when I have to work?" So guess when you're getting a response? At 3:30 in the morning. You message me after 10, I'm messaging you when I get up.
Whoops.
That is an old bill, by the way. I'll have the new ones for these articles, I do not have. the-
2:25 this morning, he got an email back from me. And he actually said, "I don't have time to talk to you later today."
I have a long day tomorrow. 4 to 4 and then half from 6 to 7.
You woke up and did that and went back to sleep?
Sure. Absolutely.
First of all, if I woke up at 2 and wrote something, the next morning I'd read it and say blah, 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 blah. And I would never get back to sleep.
Do editing all the time.
I get up at 2:45, I leave the house at 3:30, and I
You wanna read
a
the email?
1,700-piece truck, and then I come in here and I work from 8 to 4, and then I run errands for 2 hours and watch hockey and go home for 7:30, 8 o'clock.
So
You have a
we
hockey
have
player?
in front of us.
Yeah, my oldest plays
No, I
street
shouldn't.
hockey.
I can't take care of the business.
My,
without-
yeah. When I was, having my youngest, my oldest went to
Oh. That's
baseball
cool. Can we
practice
have a
with
little
a
one
really
tell
nice
them? You
lady
take
down
action
the
on that?
street and her family. She
No,
picked me
I
up
believe that one is just a sign,
the-
correct, to the Global
Right.
Yeah, that's
Montello?
just a sign, yeah.
After
Since it
that,
was already-
he
Do they have a
announced it.
solar array going in down there?
Oh, did I miss them? Did I just see it?
Did
I
she?
miss it?
Oh,
After that, he announced he wanted to
Well,
play hockey
GPI, it
because
is
he wanted
literally
that.
GPI.
I understand that. Some of my just my question. You're getting used to
Oh,
all this
solar
stuff.
array.
oh,
There was one, I
I
just
didn't
missed
catch
one.
that, and I proofread
I
it too, and
missed
I didn't
one.
catch.
Okay.
All right, well then.
We're not in a meeting right now, okay?
Yes.
Oh, well,
So-
it's,
We're in recess.
yeah, but it's,
I'm capable of coming back and signing a proper document
you
at
know,
some point in the
you know what
future.
I'm saying? Other towns, I would
It's okay.
sign the site plan approval, or my boss would. I never went to a meeting.
We're going to do things.
Because
Look, guys,
Tom's looking for it, so.
I'm dealing with derogatories in multiple places right now. I'm going to be careful about this. Mr. Viscon's back. I'm going to declare us back in session. I have a letter in front of me from being written to Mr. Schultz about Global Montello.
Yes.
It's site plan approval for Global Partners. I'm not going to read you 5 pages of it.
No, please don't.
But in looking at it very, very quickly, we have asked them to make sure they obtain a building permit prior to construction of the solar array.
Yeah, because I took an old one, so.
There is no solar array. So what we're going to do with
Did
this...
they discuss putting some panels on the?
No.
No, I took an old
No.
one and I forgot to
No.
take that part out of it.
I vaguely remember something about them. Actually, somebody asked them and they said,
Yes,
we could do that if that's important.
they can do
Or
it.
we could look into it,
But-
maybe
but-
is what they said.
I think so.
Not part of our
But
decision.
but the plans that came to us
Okay.
do not include
Yeah, and they
a
were-
solar array anywhere. So I'm not going to ask them to, I'm not going to grant them permission to ask permission for something
No,
that
that's-
isn't there. So with that being said, I've also gone through and made a couple of notes. And Mark, I'm going to leave this with you and Heather. And
Yes.
some are typos. You got me. I'm sorry. In the third paragraph on the front page, it does not necessarily mention the planning department is going to be involved going forward. It mentions all other departments in town.
No, those are the comments that were received back from the.
The plans are
planning
reviewed
board.
by other town departments and boards, including Board of Selectmen, Board of
Yes.
Health, Department, TPW, Police, Fire, Building
Yes.
Inspector, Conservation Commission, Tax
Yeah.
Collector, Assessor and Economic Development, Conservation Commission issued an order of conditions.
Yes.
We do not mention that we had anything to say.
No,
You can't
that
read out.
whole document is your thing to say.
Okay, thanks. Just double checking.
Yeah, that's your, that whole
Again-
5 pages is
Again,
your
I
thing
want
to
to
say.
make sure. So,
Hence why.
Well, just so we can be sure, could you read the 5 pages?
I'm happy to.
Well, we're gonna get a copy
Oh,
of it
please.
before it's approved.
Would you do me a favor? Would you please make that and send it out and circulate it to the board?
Sure can.
Thanks. I did not do my typical, and
It's just, it's.
as I read this, just so you know how I do it,
Yeah.
I got to section. Excuse me for a minute.
I just want to know because these are the general conditions I send out with all of them, so I just
Yeah.
want to see.
Um,
Anything when we've done
we
stuff.
specifically said,
In 6 years.
yeah. Special conditions, the parking of tractor trailer trucks and vehicles in front of the site on the western side of Harvard Road is prohibited. I wrote a question in the margin, I'll give this to you. It says, when will the signs go up in front of the cemetery? Special condition number 2, prior to any certificate of occupancy being granted, signs will be put up in front of the cemetery. So, just so you know, I've read most of the document, but if you see a comment like that, read past it, because I'll write the note. I was listening to Sue read the thing. I was processing your reading of the opening of the hearing while I was doing
My
that.
only concern with this is,
Yeah.
according to your regulations, I have to have this issued in 14 days. 14 days is Thursday.
Okay.
So unless you're gonna come into my office Thursday and sign it.
I will be here in town.
I'm going to have to leave.
Before you do, I don't want to lose form, I want to pay a bill. Thank you.
Please do.
We're going to work out that very,
Okay,
very
it's
quickly.
just, okay.
Um,
Public hearing notice bill. $162 and change, right?
The Sun, public hearing notice, we have an invoice from the Lowell Sun, I guess it is, the
Yes,
Sun
yes.
Sentinel Enterprise Valley Dispatch, for $160.52, and it was the public hearing for tonight, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I believe so.
Accept a motion to pay the bill.
So moved.
Second? Somebody say please say
I
that.
said second.
Oh, I didn't hear you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do I just sign
Yes,
this?
just sign it.
Okay, great.
Can't pay anything into that.
Yeah.
Check it's on there. So if you have any changes, that's fine. You can just sign that front page, that back page, and I'll make the changes. If you don't want to come back to town hall, but I need that done by Thursday. According to your regulations, it's 14, which,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is gets you guys back to your confusion of what's a site plan and what's a special permit. Site plans, until they have this, they can't pull a building permit. Other than that, there is no timeline. But again, that's old news from confusion of special permit and site plan. So, but it's in your regulations now, so I have to go by that.
So this is the decision you drafted up and you drafted,
I draft them. It has his special
Right.
conditions that he drafted in the special conditions, all our general conditions and all the plan details.
Okay.
I make sure I double check with Joanne when the order of
the
conditions was
conservation
issued, if
ones.
it was issued,
Right.
at what day and time and all that. Plan details, when they came in, what the name of the plan is, when revisions were made, when documents came back from letters came back from Mark Wetzel.
They're going to send this to us, right?
I can, yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
But I was saying, I have to get this to them by
Yeah.
Thursday at the latest, so I have to have it
Was there
signed.
anything else we needed to vote for?
And you already voted on that, that's just a signature.
Excuse me for a moment while
can we vote to adjourn?
I believe we've accomplished all
Yes.
we needed to do. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Good evening.
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Very good job. Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Ken. You're a genius, Mark. Thank you, Heather.
You're very welcome.